Okay, welcome to Twitch Film Table Reads. Today we are reading Searching for Justice by Raza Rizvi. Brett, take it away.
Interior, living room, Izzy's apartment, early morning. Political science textbooks lie scattered across a coffee table along marbled notebooks and two laptop computers. A bottle of bourbon is knocked on its side next to Izzy Walker, 21, a female short-haired college student who sprawled out on the floor in her underwear. Tears stream down her face, while fresh bruises cover the side of her neck, her upper arm, and her abdomen. Her hand rests on her inner thigh where blood trickles down from her groin and falls onto the carpet. Mark, 21, her tall abuser, enters the living room with a plastic bag of ice held against his right knuckles. He's still catching his breath as he looms over her, his lanky figure casting a shadow over her defenseless body. He grabs the textbooks, his notebook, and one of the computers and stuffs them into a backpack. His shadow presses over her again as he stops, hesitating. Izzy senses him and holds her breath. Finally, he leaves. The door opens and the light from all hall pours in. Mark turns back to look at her, his hard brown eyes staring down. His narrow, structured face twitches. After a long moment of silent reflection, he turns away and slams the door shut behind him. Izzy bawls her eyes out. After a few deep breaths, she starts to compose herself. The pain is almost too much as she struggles to her feet and puts back on her half-torn shirt. Her cell phone rings in the distance. She presses her hand against her stomach and limps into the kitchen. Just as the phone stops ringing, she catches her breath as she checks the display. One missed call. Sarah Bell.
Shit.
Izzy takes some time to calm her breath and stop crying, then unlocks her phone and calls Sarah. In the bathroom in the London dormitory, daytime. Sarah, 21, a punky college student with purple-tipped hair, sits on the toilet brushing her teeth with the door open when the cell phone on her bed rings. Sarah spits the toothpaste into the toilet, flushes, gives her mouth a quick rinse, and races to get to the phone in time.
Hey, babe.
Intercut phone conversation. Izzy covers the phone and takes one more deep breath.
Hey, you.
What? Did I wake you?
No.
You sound tired. Don't you have that big poli-sci midterm today?
Yeah.
Well, if you want to wake up like yourself for the day, you know I'm always up for a little early morning phone sex.
Izzy twitches a little and tries to keep herself together.
I would, but I'm so tired. I want you to come back.
I wish you could have come with me.
Me too.
Only 3 more weeks, though.
3 more weeks?
And then we can bang each other's brains out.
Yeah.
Are you okay, Izzy? You don't sound that good.
Sorry, it's just this test. I'm really stressed out. I'm kind of drunk also.
Oh, shit, girl. Don't be hungover for your test.
I don't get hangovers.
I know.
Hey, I should probably get in a quick nap before the test.
Okay, well, good luck on your test, babe.
Thanks.
I love you.
I love you too.
Izzy ends the call and bursts into tears. She slides down the counter to the blood-smeared tiled floor. After a few breaths, she pulls herself back up, opens the cupboard drawer, and reaches for a liquid bottle of NyQuil. She tears open the plastic cap and drinks the whole bottle. In the shower in Izzy's apartment, Izzy has passed out in the tub, the blood all washed away. In her bedroom, Izzy wakes up in her bed, covered in towels. She looks over at the alarm clock, 2:37 p.m. She rolls over and groans, both from frustration and pain. Series of shots of Izzy brushing her teeth, washes her face and stares in the mirror, grabs a long sleeve shirt from her closet, puts it on and covers up her black and blue bruises, uses lots of makeup to cover her injuries, ties her sneakers, combs her hair. Izzy is dressed and ready for the day. She looks at herself in her standing mirror and forces a smile onto her face. But when she opens the door and walks out into that living room, she finds herself confronted with the horrors of the previous night. Dried blood on the carpet, broken shards of glass. Izzy steps over it, trying not to give it any attention. She stuffs her computer into her backpack and zips it up. Inside Izzy's car on the highway, Izzy drives along a Louisiana highway past dense forest when a radio commercial transitions into a country song that Izzy turns off the radio. At the college parking lot, Izzy parks her car and walks towards the campus. In the poli-sci classroom, the classic testing environment, pencils move, the occasional sniffle and cough, the screech of a shifting desk. Mr. Channing, the elderly Japanese professor, sits at his desk as he watches over his students' midterm exam. Izzy sits in the back corner of the room, trying to focus as she answers the essay portion of her midterm, and yet she can't help but glance frequently to her front left, where Mark is effortlessly completing the test. Izzy's face tightens, her eyebrows furrow as she tries to not look at him. Yeah, she shuts her eyes for a few seconds, calm. Mark's desk shuffles as he stands up to turn his test in. Izzy stares him down as he makes his way to the front of the class to hand Mr. Channing his exam. She continues her stare as he turns around and struts towards the exit located at the back of the class. As he passes by, he looks and they make eye contact. But Mark just looks away and picks up his pace as he leaves. Izzy takes a deep breath and continues writing.
And it was during this fascinating time period, power struggle broke out among the political factions in Russia.
In a different classroom, Izzy is seated towards the side of the class as she attends Mrs. Perry's 50s lecture. Izzy slouches at her desk, half paying attention. Her laptop's open, but the screen's blank.
All this time, Tsar Nicholas II thought that his people would rescue him from his captors, but no one ever did.
Inside Izzy's car on the highway, Izzy drives with the radio off. Her eyes look hurt, like a piece of her has been taken away. Her dignity. When a tear wells up in her eye, she sniffles, wipes it away, and slaps herself on the cheek. She has to remain strong.
Eric, party of two?
In the restaurant at night, Izzy stands behind the host's table. The place is packed. Eric and his wife make their way to Izzy as she grabs two menus. Izzy looks at them and puts on a blatantly fake smile.
Hi, Eric.
Yes, ma'am.
Follow me, please.
Izzy leads them towards their table. In Izzy's apartment, the door unlocks and in walks Izzy. Nothing's changed. She immediately kicks off her shoes, tosses her backpack aside, and crashes on the floor. She covers her face with her hands and breathes. Oh, it's been a long day. She puts her hands down and stares into space, thinking. Finally, she takes out her phone, navigates to the keypad, and hesitantly types in 911. And after a long moment's thought, presses dial. She holds the phone up to her ear.
911, what's your
Izzy hangs up. She can't do that. She has another idea. Izzy stands up with a purpose and grabs the bottle of bourbon. She takes it to the kitchen and throws it in the trash. She kneels, opens a cabinet, and grabs a bottle of Resolve. Series of shots in the living room, sprays the bloodstains on the carpet and scrubs, wipes down the table in front of the couch, washes up the tile kitchen floor, picks up her shirt from the previous night, throws it in the washing machine. No, she takes the shirt back and throws the shirt in the trash. Where anybody can find it for later. In the bathroom, she takes off her shirt and looks at herself in the mirror, touches her bruises and winces at the pressure, scrubs herself clean in the shower, dries herself off with a towel, blow dries her short hair, puts on some comfortable pajamas. Okay. In the apartment living room, Izzy stands at the table with her textbook and laptop open and starts typing. As we fade to inside Izzy's car, Izzy looks great. Her face glows. Her hair is styled. The radio even plays an upbeat song. As it's 3 weeks later, Izzy takes an airport exit. She drives towards the international arrivals. Outside the airport pickup, Sarah waits on the curb with two large suitcases and a backpack, staring at the buzz of families reuniting. And when she spots Izzy pull up, she grabs her stuff and rushes towards the car. Izzy gets out and they scream with excitement as they meet in a long hug that transitions to passionate kissing, much to the disapproval of an elderly couple who gives them a distinct look of vitriolic objection that common folk would call the stink eye. The lovebirds stop kissing.
I missed you so bloody much.
You have no idea.
They hug again. When they're done, Izzy grabs one of Sarah's suitcases and helps her stuff it into the trunk of the car.
They had so many plays on.
In Izzy's car, Sarah excitedly sits on the edge of her seat with her body turned as much towards Izzy as possible.
Like, I could have literally seen a different show every day while I was there.
Was it like Shakespeare and stuff?
Everything you could think of. They have the Globe Theater where they only play Shakespeare, but the best was Oscar Wilde. Ugh.
You see the importance of being earnest?
Yeah, my roommate took me. She's majoring in literature and she got credit for it.
That's cool.
Yeah, it was so funny. So, like, they did the.
I quit my job.
What? Why?
I'm so exhausted all the time.
Have you been saving?
Barely. I just want to do something to actually like. I can apply for the congressional internship this year.
Isn't that unpaid?
I don't think so. I figure I'll work less, study more, and ace my finals.
Izzy, you can't just up and quit your job like that. Even if you do raise your grades, you still aren't even guaranteed to get it. Those internships are so damn competitive.
It's worth a shot.
Okay, hey babe, do you mind if I say something? I don't want to offend you.
Go for it.
Look, it's just your number one priority has to be to get out of college with as little debt as possible, right? And if you quit now and you don't get that internship, which, let's be real, only like 1% of people who actually apply get in. That's what, 6 weeks? That's like $3,000 you're living on the table. Like, if I were you, I would just power through till you graduate. Worry about that government job later and get yourself a new job ASAP.
I can't live like this anymore, Sarah.
Oh, baby.
Sarah puts her hand on Izzy's shoulder.
You've been lonely, haven't you?
Yeah? And whose fault is that?
Sarah can't help but be taken aback by her attitude.
Well, someone's cranky. Do you need a nap?
Screw you. I've been busting my ass all year while you've been going to plays.
Well, those are the perks of majoring in theater. You know you should have become an actress. You're really good at that whole emotion thing.
Yeah, right. My parents already basically disowned me. Imagine how they'd feel if they saw me on TV.
Please don't tell me you're still looking for the approval of those homophobic, neglectful assholes.
My mom doesn't really care, I guess. My dad's a dick. He barely said a word since I told him, but he still loves me. I know he does.
Are you sure about that?
Yes.
Well, if I remember correctly, when you introduced me as your girlfriend, he called you a pervert and stopped paying for your tuition. So, real classy move there.
I just need to talk to him.
You can't go back there, Izzy. You got to keep moving forward. Remember our dream of moving to New York? Well, we aren't going to get there if you're just stuck in this stupid place.
He's still my dad.
And he's holding you back. You deserve better. Prove him wrong. Become president or something.
A gay president in America.
I mean, you never know.
I'm a poli-sci major. Actually, I do know.
Sarah laughs. Inside Izzy's apartment, the place is spotless. The carpet is clean and vacuumed. The tiles in the kitchen shine. The counter glistens. The door unlocks as Izzy and Sarah walk in. Sarah immediately takes notice of the flawless condition of the apartment.
Whoa! You didn't have to do this.
I did. My mind kept wandering. I thought if I got rid of all the clutter and cleaned up a bit, I'd think more clearly, have some better focus.
Did it work?
A little bit, yeah.
Well, it looks amazing. Our place hasn't looked this good since it was empty.
Sarah turns towards Izzy and grabs her face lovingly.
Great job, babe.
They kiss and linger in a long hug. They stare into each other's eyes. Sarah smiles. In the bedroom, Izzy and Sarah make out ferociously on the bed. But when Sarah pushes Izzy flat on her back in what would normally be a sexy move, Izzy tenses up. Sarah mounts her, takes off her shirt, tosses it away, and tilts down to kiss Izzy's neck. But she just turns her head and stares at the wall. Sarah's stream of kisses gracefully moves down Izzy's torso. She reaches under Izzy's shirt and fondles her breasts. Her kisses move further down. She reaches her waist. Sarah unbuttons Izzy's jeans and pulls them off, then allows her hands to work their way into Izzy's underwear. Izzy starts sweating. She closes her eyes.
Stop. Sarah, stop.
Sarah stops with a sudden pulse of confused hesitation.
What's wrong? Have I lost my touch?
Tears form in Izzy's eyes. She sniffles and starts sobbing.
Jesus, you really took an emotional to a whole new level.
Shut up.
Sarah is taken aback. She sits up.
What's wrong, Izzy? Hey,
Izzy doesn't respond. She continues crying.
you need to talk to me here, babe.
I thought I'd just get over it.
Get over what? Jesus Christ. Did you cheat on me again? Because you said
I got raped.
Sarah freezes. Izzy stands up, storms into the bathroom, and slams the door shut behind her. Sarah rubs her face and slowly approaches the door.
When? When was this?
3 weeks ago.
Who who who, who did it?
Mark.
Him? Jesus Christ.
The toilet flushes and the door opens back up. Izzy is crying hysterically. Sarah holds her.
Okay. What happened? How?
I don't know. It was the night before my midterm. We were just studying and hanging out, and then he just.
Oh my God. Did you report it?
No, I can't.
Why the hell not? You have to.
No, I have too much shit to do in school.
No. That asshole isn't getting away with this. You're calling the police now.
No, I'm not.
Then I'll do it for you.
Sarah takes her arm off Izzy and turns. Izzy grabs her.
I'm handling this my way.
You aren't handling shit. You can't let him get away with this. You think you're his first? You want him to let up someone else wind up just... someone else will wind up just like you.
Izzy slaps her. They're both shocked. Izzy cries more.
Shit. I'm sorry.
No, I'm sorry.
It's just not worth it, Sarah. You know how colleges handle these cases. He'll end up getting away with it. And I'll just end up with constant disciplinary hearings and the shit always on my mind when all I want to do is forget it ever happened.
Okay, fine. It's your decision.
Thanks, babe. I love you.
I love cake.
In the living room, Izzy and Sarah cuddle on the couch as they watch TV. Sarah yawns and stretches.
I should go to bed. Jet lag or whatever.
Izzy takes her head off Sarah's shoulder.
I've got an early class, too.
Sarah switches off the TV and they head to bed. In the bedroom, at 2:30 in the morning, Izzy and Sarah are cuddled in a deep sleep. In a time lapse through the night as the sun rises and shines. In the morning, 7:45, ring ring, the alarm on Izzy's phone goes off. She slowly opens her eyes and switches off the alarm. Sarah is still asleep. Izzy takes a moment to stare at her. She smiles. In Izzy's car, Izzy eats a breakfast burrito as she drives, half dancing along to an upbeat pop song playing on the radio. In a classroom, Izzy sits in the back corner of the packed lecture. Mr. Fisher paces in front of a bland-looking PowerPoint presentation.
And what I want to know is, what does the DA have to do with the police reports once they are investigated?
Mark sits a few rows in front of her. She tries her best to ignore him as she diligently takes notes.
Miss Walker?
Everyone turns to face her, even Mark.
Yeah?
Do you have an answer for me?
Well, the DA would...
Mr. Fisher's voice starts fading as Izzy starts losing concentration. She's gonna be sick.
Miss Walker, are you okay?
Izzy shoots out of her desk and runs out the back door. Mark stares along with the rest of the class.
Okay. Well, that's enough of that.
The class politely laughs. In the hallway, Izzy runs through the hall with her hand over her mouth. Students stare as she rushes past them into the bathroom, where she pushes past a group of girls applying their makeup and rushes into the first stall where she immediately vomits. The stall door is still open and the disgusting sound of her retching and splashing water echoes out.
Looks like someone hit the bottle too hard last night.
The others laugh. When she's done, Izzy stands up and takes a few heavy breaths. She wipes her mouth and flushes. She walks to the sink and does her best to ignore the girls as she washes her hands and face, then rinses her mouth. She looks at herself in the mirror with that deep, introspective look as if she's staring into her own soul.
Want some mascara?
Izzy holds up her hand, rejecting the offer, and flees. In the living room, Sarah sits on the couch with her laptop open. Sarah scrolls through a website with the title Legal Advice for Rape Victims. The door opens and Izzy enters. Sarah jumps out of her skin and quickly closes the browser.
Izzy, you're home early. Don't you have class right now?
I'm not feeling good.
Sarah stands and hugs her.
I need to lie down.
Okay.
Izzy lifts her shoe to take it off and falls to the floor.
Izzy!
Sarah grabs onto her and helps her up.
I threw up during class.
Izzy and Sarah go to the bedroom.
Oh my god. Here, let's get you into bed.
Sarah leads Izzy into the bedroom and helps her onto the bed. Izzy groans and stretches out.
Did you eat anything?
Sarah sits down beside her.
I had a breakfast burrito.
Well, that's probably it. No more Mexican in the morning.
Izzy gags.
Oh god.
Izzy rushes to the toilet and throws up again.
That must have been one mean burrito.
Izzy flushes, rinses her mouth, and heads back to bed. She lies down and groans as Sarah softly strokes her head.
You're gonna be okay. Just close your eyes and go to sleep.
Izzy closes her eyes momentarily, then opens them.
Oh, damn. Hold that thought. I gotta piss.
Izzy gets up and Sarah watches her with growing concern.
Hey, babe,
Yeah?
has your period started yet?
On the toilet, Izzy goes pale.
No.
Well, I mean, you're still in sync with me, right?
No. I can't. No.
She flushes the toilet and gets back into bed beside Sarah.
You said it was 3 weeks?
Izzy rolls over and covers her head with a pillow.
Oh.
You should take a test. You don't, I mean, do you have any, maybe?
No.
Okay. Let's just don't freak out. I'll be back in a few minutes. Where are your keys?
Izzy groans and sits up.
I'll come with you.
In the pharmacy during the day, Izzy walks the aisles like a zombie as she looks from one colorful display to the next. Sarah appears beside her with a handful of pregnancy tests.
Let's go, Mrs. Depressed.
Inside Izzy's car, Sarah drives. Izzy stares.
$20 says it's a false alarm.
Inside the bedroom bathroom, Izzy sits on the toilet holding the strip underneath her. Sarah sits anxiously on the edge of the bed.
Anything?
I can't even pee.
I'll get you some water.
Wait. No. I got it.
Izzy starts peeing. Sarah bites her fingernails.
Everything's gonna be okay.
We'll see.
Izzy finishes. She stands up, walks to the bed, and takes a seat next to Sarah. They stare at the stick together.
I can't look. What is it?
Sarah rubs Izzy's back as she shuts her eyes.
I can't be pregnant. Please.
Izzy groans in impatient, nervous frustration. Time cut to Izzy smokes a joint by the bedroom window.
It could be wrong. We've got 2 more.
Forget it. It's not wrong. Shit.
I know.
Sarah grabs her phone from the bed and browses the internet.
Shit.
What?
The closest abortion clinic is in Baton Rouge.
Baton Rouge? That's like 2 hours away. I can't. I can't go all the way there.
It's gonna be okay. You're gonna be okay. We're gonna be okay.
No, we aren't, Sarah.
Sarah stares at Izzy's distraught face.
You know this is proof, right?
Too late for that.
It's never too late. That piece of shit is gonna pay for everything. Your abortion, your student loans, compensation, and he's gonna go to jail.
I told you already, Jesus is not your decision to make.
Okay. We're gonna get through this together, babe.
No, I'm going through this. I'm the one who's pregnant. I'm the one who got raped. Not you, Sarah. Me.
You're upset. I get it. But cut me some slack, okay? I'm just trying to help.
Can you just give me some time alone, please?
Sure.
Sarah gets up and walks out, shutting the door behind her. Izzy screams and hurls the pregnancy test at the wall. In the living room, Sarah lies on the couch, wide awake, face up to the ceiling. It's dead silent, until sobbing echoes from Izzy's bedroom. Sarah sits up and approaches the door. She presses her ear against it, then knocks quietly.
Can I come in?
No response, just sobs. Sarah slowly opens the door and peeks into the bedroom where Izzy's sitting cross-legged on the bed, crying into her hands.
Is he? Oh, baby.
Sarah walks over to the bed and cuddles up next to Izzy. She wraps her arms around her and kisses her neck.
Sarah,
Yeah.
that son of a bitch is gonna pay.
Sarah can't help but smile. She hugs Izzy closer.
You can do this. Fight the system.
They lie back onto the bed and cuddle. Izzy quietly cries as Sarah rubs her neck and shoulders in consolation. In the living room, Sarah sits on the couch eating cereal while Izzy paces.
Okay, so first I talk to the counselor, right?
Yeah.
And they'll talk to the police.
Yeah. I hope so.
In the school counselor's office, Laura Hawkins, 44, the student counselor, sits at her polished wooden desk, typing on her laptop. She looks at her watch and with a sigh stands up. She opens to the door to the waiting room where Izzy and Sarah sit.
Izzy Walker?
Yes, Mrs. Hawkins?
Yes, come in.
Izzy stands up.
Can my friend come too?
I'd like to speak with you alone at first, if you don't mind.
Izzy looks at Sarah, who nods. Laura leads her into the office.
Have a seat. Would you like some water?
They both sit across from each other.
No, thanks.
Thank you for contacting me. Rape is obviously a very serious accusation.
Accusation?
Well, the school will have to carry out a formal investigation into what happened between you and Mr. Griffin.
Mark Griffin.
Right, Mark Griffin.
How long would this whole investigation thing take? I've already got a lot on my plate.
I can't say, but we'll get to the bottom of what happened.
What do you mean, get to the bottom of it? He raped me. Case closed.
Do you have any proof? Yes?
I'm pregnant.
Laura's eyes widen.
Well, that's a very serious development.
Yeah, no shit. I can't have this baby. I want him expelled, and I want him to pay for my abortion.
Laura sits in that chair.
Things aren't that simple, Miss Walker.
What are you talking about? I'm freaking pregnant. He raped me, and I got pregnant. How much more simple can I get? What are you going to tell me, that it's my word against his?
Izzy felt Laura's cold stare.
To be frank, Miss Walker, you don't have any bruises or cuts. Maybe if you'd come to us sooner.
I was scared.
I'm sorry, but it just makes things more complicated. Maybe if there's a witness of some kind or any other evidence. According to my records, Mr. Griffin is a good boy with...
A good boy?
Please.
No. A good boy? He's a rapist.
All of his teachers...
Who gives a damn what his teachers say?
Laura takes a deep breath.
I'm going to recommend you to a medical professional.
Izzy stares at Laura with a look of disbelief.
You're the shittiest counselor in the world.
She stands in a fury and barges out into the waiting room where Sarah immediately stands up. Izzy turns back to Laura.
Miss Walker, please come back.
Screw you!
Izzy storms out the front door. Sarah flips Laura off and chases after Izzy. Outside the college campus, Izzy walks with a brick pace. Sarah jogs to catch up to her.
Izzy, what happened?
Izzy stops on a dime and turns around, still fuming.
Oh, they're such pieces of shit!
What did she say?
Oh, he's a nice boy. Oh, the teachers say good things about him. Oh, this. Oh, that. Blah, blah, fucking blah.
Okay, what do you want to do?
I'm going to the police. Press charges.
Don't you need a lawyer and stuff?
I'll figure it out. Call my parents. I don't know. I'll do something. I can't have this baby, Sarah.
Sarah places her hand on Izzy's shoulder and nods.
You'll win this. I know you will.
We'll win this.
Sarah moves in closer and kisses Izzy. In the police station during the day, Izzy and Sarah walk to the front desk where Officer Williamson sits, rifling through his papers and files.
What may I do for you ladies?
I'd like to report a crime.
Okay. What's the nature of the crime?
Rape.
He looks up, slightly startled, and clears his throat.
We have special officers who handle sexual assault cases. We'll call one of them out and you can file a report. In the meantime, you can wait over there.
Thanks.
Thank you, officer.
Officer Williamson reaches for his phone as Izzy and Sarah make their way to the side of the lobby and sit.
This is so messed up. What do you think's gonna happen?
The cops are gonna nail Mark to the wall, that's what.
I hope he's nice.
Who?
Whoever talks to us.
You can't get much worse than that counselor. Stupid fucking bitch.
Calm down, babe.
Sarah takes a deep breath to compose herself.
It's just so goddamn frustrating.
I know.
Out to greet them come Officers Ripley, female black 30s, and Dillon, male 40s.
Are you the ladies who'd like to file a sexual assault?
It's just me.
Okay. Follow me, please.
Can she come too?
Whatever makes you feel comfortable.
In the interrogation room in the police station, Izzy and Sarah sit at an aluminum desk across from Ripley, who has an open folder in front of her and a pen in her hand. Dillon sets 2 cups of coffee in front of Izzy and Sarah.
Now, because of the nature of your complaint, some of the questions I'm going to ask will be personal and require you to think back to your best recollection. So if you ever feel uncomfortable, just let me know and we can take a break if you like.
Izzy nods, understanding.
First, we'll start off with some simple profile questions. Can I please have your name and birth date?
Izzy Walker, February 24th, 1995.
And the name of the person who sexually assaulted you?
Mark Griffin.
His ethnicity?
White.
What day did the sexual assault occur?
March 14th.
Do you happen to have any possible evidence? Clothes, bruises, scars, sheets, anything of the sort?
No, but I'm pregnant.
Dillon and Ripley exchange a look. Dillon clears his throat.
And are you sure the baby was conceived on the day of the incident?
Yes,
You seem pretty calm.
I'm trying.
Have you had any emotional breakdowns in the past few weeks since the incident?
Yes, several.
Have you seen a medical professional since the incident?
No.
I recommend you see one, especially since you're pregnant. I'll give you a number after we file the report.
Okay, thank you.
Have you had any suicidal thoughts or attempted suicide?
No,
If you need to see a psychiatrist,
I can't pay for that.
Dillon nods with understanding, scribbles a few notes.
were there any witnesses to the crime? And if so,
No, nobody saw it. Not as far as I know.
Okay. Thank you, Izzy. Now, I'll have to ask you to recollect some of the assault to the best of your memory. Try being as specific as possible. The more specific you are, the easier it will be to prosecute.
Okay. So I invited Mark over to study.
You invited him over?
Yeah.
Ripley jots down something.
So we were studying for our political science midterm, which was the next day, and while we were studying, he just grabbed my shoulders and pushed me down. And he got extremely physical, and he started kissing me. I tried getting away and fighting back, but he punched me in the stomach and then again in my head. My head hurt too much to fight back after that. Everything was spinning and I could feel my heart racing. Then he pinned me down and started taking off my clothes. He grabbed my breasts and almost choked me when he put his hand around my throat. And then he just took off his pants and he raped me. And he had his hand around my throat at first, and then he turned me around and pressed my head onto the floor. When he was finished, I had bruises all over my stomach and my neck and my wrists, but they're all healed now.
Was there any sodomy involved?
What?
Anal penetration?
No.
It was very brave of you to reporting this, Izzy.
Were either of you intoxicated during the assault?
No, we were studying.
Ripley nods and jots something down.
There anything else we need here, Dylan?
No, we should be good to go, Ripley.
Ripley nods and leaves.
We'll file this report and contact this Mark Griffin at your college as soon as we can to interview him. My advice right now would be to see a doctor. You should also consult with your school counselor and report it to the school.
Yeah, I did that already.
Okay, good. Good. If you could give me the name of the counselor in the school, we'll contact her right away.
She's a piece of shit.
Excuse me?
All she wants to do is make sure the school's reputation isn't damaged.
That's usually a problem with college rape cases. We'll try talking to her. Can I have her name, please?
Yeah, Hawkins? Yeah, Hawkins. Her first name's Laura, I believe.
We have your number, so we'll call you if there are further developments.
Dylan stands and Izzy and Sarah follow suit. In Izzy's car, Sarah drives. Izzy sits in the passenger seat.
I have a good feeling about this.
Yeah. Isn't this going to cost a lot of money though? Cuz you'll need a lawyer for prosecution, right?
He's the one who needs a lawyer. State's gonna prosecute his ass.
Okay. So if there's a trial,
There will be a trial.
I know, but
There will be a trial.
okay. I'm just saying that once Mark's family, once Mark finds out about this, his family's going to get one of those big shot lawyers like Johnny Cochran or something cuz his family's like super rich.
You think I should call my parents?
I don't think that's a very good idea.
They're gonna find out anyway. Might as well be from me.
I don't think the best way to reconcile is to call them and say "Hi, I got raped and need money so I can get an abortion. Thanks."
God, Jesus, Sarah, then what do you want me to do then?
Sarah takes a deep breath.
How much do you think the clinic's gonna charge you anyways? Not more than $1,000, right? I can call my mom. I can borrow a few hundred from her.
No, I don't want to drag you into this.
I'm already in this. We have some money in our savings. I'll talk to her.
I don't want her to know, all right?
But look, my mom's a hippie. She'll be fine with it.
Are you sure about this?
HIV positive.
In the living room, Sarah sits on the couch beside Izzy. They're both nervous. Sarah's phone rests on the coffee table on speaker. It rings.
Hello.
Hey, Mom.
Hey, Sarah. How you doing? How's your jet lag?
It's good. It's good.
Cool.
Hey, Mom. I was actually calling to ask you something pretty important.
Oh no. Did Aunt Shirley tell you? I'm so sorry. I should have been the one.
What? Tell me
Tell me
what?
what?
Oh, she didn't tell you?
No.
I was gonna call you later, but
Just tell me, Mom.
Grandma had a stroke.
Izzy freezes. Sarah looks shocked.
Is she okay?
Yeah, she's in the hospital. There's just a mild paralysis that's supposed to go away soon.
Oh God.
They're checking her heart for blood clots or whatever.
Did they find anything yet?
I don't know. We'll find out in a couple of weeks. So what were you calling about?
Sarah looks at Izzy, who shakes her head. Izzy walks away as Sarah puts the phone to her ear. In the bedroom, Izzy's in bed, covered by the blankets. Sarah sits down.
Hey,
Sorry about your grandmother.
it's okay.
So I'm assuming you can't get the money.
Sorry, babe. Maybe we can find like a free clinic out of state, or maybe I'll just get a job and help you out.
I was thinking I should visit my parents. Might fare better than a phone call.
I'll go with you if you want.
No, it's okay. Last time didn't go so well when you were there.
True. So where are you gonna leave?
Friday night after class, I guess.
Your mom will help you.
We'll see.
Interior, Izzy's parents' house at night. Izzy's father, Pat, 50s, watches Fox News from a raggedy old couch with a beer in one hand and the TV remote in the other. Her mother, Sharon, 50s, cooks dinner behind him.
You want mash or mac and cheese today?
Whatever you like, woman. I'm just hungry.
I'm going with the mash then.
Sounds good to me. Make it spicy again.
In the dining room, Pat, Sharon, and Judy, 13, Izzy's younger sister, sit at an old wooden dining table, eating meat and mashed potatoes.
You do your homework yet, Judy? Yeah. What I tell you about saying yeah?
Judy rolls her eyes.
It's 2016, Dad. I'm not gonna call my dad sir. Well then you can get out of this house and find another dad. Maybe that one will be all right with you having no manners. I have manners. All these faggots are looking for children to adopt. You'll fit right in there with your sister.
Patrick Walker, you are out of line.
Judy gets up and storms off, pissed.
You get back here and finish your supper.
This shit needs to stop.
You don't think she's one of them, too?
What does it matter, Pat? Who cares? Izzy's barely a part of this family anymore. Just leave it be.
Sharon's phone rings. Pat looks over to see who's calling. It's Izzy.
Well, speak of the devil. Don't answer it.
Sharon ignores him and answers the phone.
Izzy?
Intercut with the living room. Izzy sits on the couch alone on the phone.
Mom,
It's me, sweetie. How you doing?
I'm good. Good.
I haven't heard your voice in forever.
I'm sorry if I upset you too. But I had to tell you.
It's okay, sweetie. I'm proud of you.
Pat glares at Sharon, completely shocked but silent.
You are?
We both love you very much.
You do?
Ask her what she wants.
I love you too, Mom.
Why you calling, Izzy?
I thought I'd visit over the weekend. maybe try to settle things with Dad. There's a couple other things I need to tell you too. It's kind of important.
She wants to come over this weekend.
Absolutely not.
Absolutely. That sounds wonderful.
Great. I'll be there Friday night. Like around 8, probably.
We'll be waiting for you.
Bye, Mom. Love you.
Love you too, sweetie.
Izzy hangs up. Sharon puts the phone down on the table.
I said no.
You and her are going to work things out no matter how long it takes. And you're either going to accept our daughter for who she is, or there's going to be serious trouble between you and me.
Pat stands up and storms off.
Jesus, I lost all power in this house. 21st century is messing with all your damn minds.
In the poli-sci classroom, Izzy takes notes on her laptop at Mr. Channing's lectures.
Karl Marx saw the proletariat as a universal class, but only in the sense that its social position drove it towards the overthrow of capitalism, which...
Izzy's phone rings. She jolts up in panic. Izzy takes her phone out.
Do you mind, Miss Walker?
Izzy turns her phone off. Mark stares at her. In the hallway, students exit class with Izzy in the middle of the pack. She finds some open space and takes out her phone. One voicemail from unidentified. She presses play and holds the phone against her ear.
Hi, it's Laura Hawkins, your counselor. I was just calling to let you know that I've set up a meeting for tomorrow at 1:30 between you, me, Mark, and 2 other disciplinary counselors to review your case. Please call me back, confirming you'll be able to make this appointment.
In the living room, Izzy paces the carpet while Sarah watches her.
Who puts the victim of rape in the same room as the rapist? Doesn't she think that might, I don't know, trigger some kind of emotional response?
I honestly think that she thinks you're lying.
I have a baby inside of me.
You think you'll be okay?
I have no idea.
Maybe you should act out, like on purpose. Flip your shit. That'll convince them.
They should already be convinced. Why is it his word against mine? I don't freaking understand.
Neither do I, babe. Neither do I. Well, look on the bright side.
What bright side?
You're losing a lot of calories with all this pacing.
I hate you.
In the conference room, Izzy stands at one end of a long table. Mark sits at the other. Laura, Mr. Richardson 40s, and Mr. Maroney 50s sit along the sides of the table, pen and paper at the ready.
Now, after reviewing this case, we think it'd be in the best interest for both of you to switch time periods with all the classes you have together.
After reviewing my case, it's been literally 2 days.
Well, we heard Mr. Griffin's side of the story, and apparently there was drinking involved. Am I correct?
We weren't drunk.
Mr. Griffin said you consented for him to make sexual advances towards you.
Izzy starts getting pissed.
He said you looked willing and that your body was openly facing his, and you two were brushing shoulders.
It's a small couch. We were there to study, not get drunk and have sex. Why are you believing him? He's lying.
Just because you were too drunk to use a condom doesn't give you the right to go around blaming people for raping you.
Izzy looks absolutely shell-shocked.
You asshole.
Well, consult with Miss Hawkins about having your schedules altered.
He's lying.
Miss Walker, you have no evidence to prove your case. No bruises, no scars, no cuts.
I have a baby.
That's hardly any evidence for rape, Miss Walker, and it does seem rather suspicious that you only came forward after discovering that you were pregnant.
I was trying to forget about it and put it behind me so I could focus on school.
Please lower your voice, Miss Walker.
Izzy stands up.
I don't believe this. I don't freaking believe this. I'm pressing charges, by the way, with the police.
You contacted the police.
Yeah, because you people aren't any help.
The 3 counselors look somewhat worried.
Generally, assault cases involving 2 college students stay within the university.
Well, my bad. You think rape is okay, but the district attorney might think otherwise.
She looks to Mark with venom in her eyes.
Expect to be answering some real questions soon. And hopefully you can keep your bullshit stories straight, because you're not getting away with this.
Mark looks somewhat worried as Izzy bolts from the room.
Don't worry, Mark. We'll contact your parents and tell them this was just a huge misunderstanding.
Thanks. I appreciate it. I just don't know what I ever did to make her hate me so much.
Inside Izzy's car, Izzy drives, tears well up in her eyes. She sniffles and wills them away. In her bedroom, Izzy stuffs pajamas, a couple of textbooks, notebooks, and her laptop into a backpack. Sarah walks in.
Hey, you gonna stay the night over there?
The weekend, actually. It's not worth driving all the way and then coming back.
What if things don't go well?
They will.
Izzy zips her backpack up, walks up to Sarah, and gives her a quick kiss on the lips.
I'll call you later.
Inside Izzy's car on the highway, the song on the radio breaks with a poor reception. After a few seconds, it's just white noise. Izzy switches it off. Outside Izzy's parents' house at night, Izzy parks outside the dimly lit mid-sized house. She grabs her backpack from the passenger seat and gets out. Inside Izzy's parents' house, Pat sits on the couch, reading a book with Sharon beside him on the phone when Judy walks in.
She's here. I heard a car pull up.
Ding dong. Pat groans. Sharon stands up rather excited. She walks to the front door and opens it to reveal Izzy.
Hi, Izzy.
Hi, Mom.
They hug. Judy walks in behind Sharon. Izzy notices her.
Hey, Jude.
Hey.
They give each other a great big hug.
Did you miss me?
Not really.
Izzy laughs. She looks at Sharon.
Can I stay here for the weekend? I thought since I drove all this way and...
Oh, of course, of course.
Thanks.
Izzy walks in and Sharon closes the door.
Where's Dad?
Sharon looks to the couch, but it's empty.
He's still not over it, is he?
I've tried talking to him about paying your tuition. He's just so damn ignorant.
It's okay. I have it covered.
No, we want to help.
Are you gonna have some dinner now?
Yes, dear. You can head over to the table and start setting things up.
Judy walks off.
I have it covered, Mom. Really.
How? With more student debt?
I'm getting good grades. I'm confident I'm going to get that summer internship with the congressman. If you can get that, you're pretty much guaranteed to move up fast. Then my debt will go away in no time. Besides, I kind of need your help with something else instead.
What is it?
I'll talk to you all about it later.
Are you sure? Dad isn't very keen on talking to you.
I think I can make him come around.
In the dining room, it's dead silent. Izzy, Sharon, Pat, and Judy eat the normal Walker dinner. Meat and mashed potatoes.
So, Izzy, there was something you wanted to tell us?
Yeah, right. It's just... I think it'd be best if Judy leaves.
No, I'm 13 now.
No, really. Judy, can you please leave?
Listen to your sister, Judy.
Fine.
Judy stands up.
Hold on now. Were you excused?
Yes? Mom and Izzy told me to leave.
Judy walks off.
You've been a bad influence on her.
What do you need to tell us, sweetie?
Izzy stares at her mother and father.
I got... I need some money.
Absolutely not.
For what?
Well,
Izzy's face tightens up.
textbooks.
Textbooks?
They're changing textbooks for next quarter in history.
You made your sister leave supper early over textbooks, eh?
In the middle of a school year?
Yeah, there was some weird department thing. I don't really know.
How much?
I don't know yet, but if I could have like 1,000, it'd cover it all.
Pat's loud, booming laugh cuts Izzy off.
You think way over retarded? $1,000 for some books.
Sharon looks at Izzy sympathetically.
Sweetie, we just don't have that kind of money. Pat's wages got cut as it is, and we need to save for Judy's education.
It's okay. I thought I might as well ask.
I'm sorry, Izzy.
Izzy stands up.
It's okay. I'm just gonna go to bed.
In the bedroom, Sarah lies in bed on her laptop. Her headphones are plugged in as she watches a movie. A few seconds later, her phone buzzes.
Hello?
Hi, Sarah Bell?
Yes? Who's this?
Officer Dillon from the other day.
Huh, right.
I was just calling to see if you were free tomorrow morning to come in and talk to me about your friend Izzy and the incident with Mark Griffin.
I actually don't have a car right now. Is there any way you could possibly come over to my place?
Inside Judy's bedroom, Judy sleeps on the bed while Izzy lies awake on an air mattress spread out across the floor. She hears the TV faintly in the background. In the living room, Sharon sits on the couch watching TV when Izzy walks in.
You still do this?
I'm so sorry. Did I wake you?
Oh, no. I couldn't sleep.
Sorry about supper today. We're on a really tight budget. Maybe you can just borrow some books from your friends.
Izzy sits down next to her mother.
I don't need money for textbooks, Mom.
Then what
Sharon
were you
mutes the
asking?
TV.
Then what were you asking for?
I couldn't say this in front of Dad, but I got raped
Sharon's eyes widen.
and I'm pregnant.
What about an abortion?
I thought you were pro-life.
Now when my little girl gets raped, do you have money for it?
Izzy shakes.
I'll talk to Dad.
No, please, he'll lose his shit.
I don't have any money, honey. You know when your father got laid off, I had to spend every last cent I had. I promise I'll talk to him. You'll be okay. We'll get the money somehow.
Thanks, Mom.
Sharon gives Izzy a hug. Inside Izzy's apartment in the morning, Sarah opens the front door to reveal Officer Dillon and Ripley are waiting outside.
Hi, Sarah.
Hey, officers. Come in.
Thank you.
They follow her inside and sit on the couch. Sarah pulls up a chair and sits down across from them.
We'd like to ask you a few questions. Although you weren't present at the time of the alleged crime, you have a close connection with Miss Walker. So we're considering you a witness.
Have you interrogated Mark yet?
No, not yet.
Do you plan on doing that sometime soon?
Later today, in fact.
Good, because the college let him off without even a slap on the wrist.
We heard. So look, your feelings about her aside, are you convinced that Mark Griffin did indeed rape Miss Walker?
Yes.
And what was their relationship like in your eyes?
I'm not really too sure. I met him a couple of times early in the semester, but I did have a semester abroad in England, so I wasn't really around here very often.
Did Mark Griffin ever strike you as the kind of guy who would act violently?
Well, appearances can be deceiving.
So, no.
No.
Did Mark Griffin ever make any sexual advances towards you?
No.
Not even a look or anything subtle like that?
No, I don't think so.
Okay. How many times did Mark Griffin and Izzy Walker meet before the incident?
Oh, I don't know. They had a lot of study sessions together, but usually in public places like Starbucks or Panera Bread or whatever.
And did Miss Walker ever complain about his demeanor during these encounters?
Sarah shakes her head.
And what were Miss Walker's drinking habits like?
Excuse me?
We spoke to the university counselors, and they said that both Mr. Griffin and Miss Walker consumed alcohol that night.
Yeah, but it's not like they were drinking to get drunk. Izzy had a big test the next day, and she's always been responsible. What does it matter, anyways?
It's just for the record.
I'm not liking the sound of this record.
Dylan sits up and clears his throat.
Sarah, I'm going to be straight with you here. It's incredibly rare for someone accused of rape to actually be convicted. In fact, most of the time, the case doesn't even reach trial. Now, the prosecutor might send this case to trial since she was impregnated, but only under one condition.
Which is.
Are you and Izzy Walker a gay couple?
Sarah stares into Officer Dylan's eyes as we smash cut to black. And take a break.
Yes, that will be our intermission. Great work, everybody. We're going to take 5, and we'll be right back. Okay. Our intermission is over. I hope everyone had a nice break. Let's revisit our table readers. Hi, everybody. I hope you had a good break. Went pee-pee in the potty and all that. You guys ready to go?
We
I believe
are
so.
ready.
Yep.
Yeah.
See?
Excellent. All right. Keep up the great work, you guys. Brett, take it away.
All right. Over black. Super. 2 weeks later, inside the doctor's office during the day, Izzy and Sarah sit beside each other on the checkup bed. Dr. Myers, 66 across from them with his clipboard.
Have you ever been pregnant before?
No.
Do you smoke, drink, or use any other drugs?
Is all this really necessary? I plan on getting an abortion.
An abortion?
Yeah, this was an extremely unwanted pregnancy.
Are you positive you want to get an abortion? You're just going to strip an unborn, innocent baby of all the amazing things it might achieve? What if that baby inside of you ends up changing the world or becoming president?
Yeah, what if he becomes like Hitler?
I want another doctor. Could you recommend me to one that's pro-choice?
I'm afraid, Miss Walker, that I can't recommend any doctors who'd approve of you murdering.
All right, that's enough. Let's go.
May the Lord bless your sinful souls.
Uh-huh.
Inside Izzy's car, Sarah's driving.
I'm getting really nervous.
Why?
It's been like 2 weeks since the police talked to Mark.
Yeah, I don't know what's going on.
We should go in and see the officers.
Yeah, okay. That's a good idea. I'll call that Officer Dillon guy and ask him what's taking so long with the charges.
You drive. I'll call him right now.
Put him on speaker though.
Inside the police station, Dylan sits at his desk when the phone rings.
Officer Grant Dillon?
Intercut the phone conversation.
Hi, it's Izzy Walker. You talked to me a couple weeks ago about forwarding the information of my rape case to the DA.
Ah, right. I'm glad you called.
Where have you been? You can't just disappear like this. This is an extremely urgent matter for me.
I'm incredibly sorry. I thought Officer Ripley was going to contact you. I've been caught up in another case. You never heard from her?
No, I didn't.
That's odd. Well, the DA's office is still reviewing the files I sent them, but I don't think they're going to move forward with filing the charges.
What? Why the hell not?
There were a lot of discrepancies between your report of the incident and Mr. Griffin's.
What discrepancies?
I'm afraid you'll have to speak to Officer Ripley about that, ma'am.
Why can't you talk to me?
I'm not assigned to your case anymore. Look, do you have a lawyer?
No, I can't afford one.
Try contacting a legal aid service and find someone who can take you on pro bono. Try to convince the DA for you.
Inside the bedroom in Izzy's apartment, Izzy and Sarah cuddle together in bed.
And you're sure it'll be completely free?
That's what the website said. If you're a victim of abuse, they'll assign you a lawyer pro bono.
It's probably a scam.
Inside the lobby of Bobby Fernstein's Legal Aid Association, Izzy and Sarah approach the receptionist.
Hello. Do you have an appointment?
Yes, Izzy Walker.
Thank you. Please take a seat over there while you wait.
Izzy and Sarah take a seat. Sarah pulls out her phone and starts texting. Izzy taps her foot nervously. Bobby Fernstein, a good-looking lawyer in his 50s, walks in.
Izzy Walker?
That's me.
Follow me, please.
Izzy stands up. Sarah stays seated.
You coming, Sarah?
I'm gonna call my mom if that's okay. My grandma just got out of surgery.
Okay.
Inside Bobby's office, Bobby sits across from Izzy at his desk.
First of all, let me just say it's a real tragedy what happened to you. A real tragedy.
So are you going to take my case?
Yeah, not me personally. My schedule's much too full, but I'll call one of my best and brightest up from the bullpen and have him help you out.
Great. And completely free, right?
Yeah. Actually, I know just the girl you need. I'll call her in right now so you can meet her.
Bobby reaches for his phone. He dials a number.
Gloria, can you come into my office, please? I'd like to meet a new client.
Inside the lobby, Sarah shifts in her seat, trying to get comfortable.
Quadruple? Jesus, Mom! Can I talk to her? Well, when is she gonna be awake? Okay. Well, call me as soon as she wakes up. Thanks, Mom. I love you too. Okay, bye.
Inside Bobby's office, Gloria Goyer, an ambitious blonde lawyer, fresh out of law school, shakes hands with Izzy.
Gloria Goyer, nice to meet you.
Why don't you two grab a coffee, talk over the case a little bit? I think you'll like this one, Gloria.
I'm excited.
Inside Starbucks, Gloria sits on one side of her table with her laptop out. Izzy and Sarah sit across from her with coffee.
Just call me Izzy. I've been called Miss Walker enough the past few weeks.
Okay, Izzy. Looking over everything you've provided, I think I've got a pretty good shot at convincing the DA to file. We'll worry about the prosecution later.
What are you going to do?
I'll throw out some college sexual assault statistics and how there's a history of cover-ups. Plus, with you being pregnant as a gay couple, if I get denied, I'll play the homophobe card. That usually shuts them up.
When's the earliest you can talk to them? Because I'm really getting worried that this whole process is going to drag out. If I can't get the money for an abortion soon, then I'll be stuck with this child.
I'll mention that as well. Hopefully it'll streamline the process. Can't make any promises, though. I'll make some calls and try to get in by the end of the week.
Gloria shuts up her laptop in that ambulance and stands up.
I'll keep you updated. It was nice meeting you, Izzy. You too, Sarah.
In the bedroom, Izzy gets changed while Sarah's on the bed with her laptop.
This is so screwed up.
What are you looking at?
Are you sure you want to know? Only 5% of rapists actually go to jail.
Will you stop with the stats already?
Well, it's concerning, Izzy. Seriously. I mean, unless you have the bruises or the scars or the jizz on clothing, it's pretty much...
I have a baby, Sarah.
Well, that doesn't seem to mean anything. They'll probably think the only reason you even were reporting this in the first place is because you got pregnant.
I don't get it. I mean, you told them we're a lesbian couple, right?
Yeah, I did.
Then how could anyone think I possibly consented to having sex with a man I don't even like men?
Well, Sam.
Izzy's face flushes with rage.
I'm sorry. I shouldn't have mentioned it.
No, it's fine. They'll never find out about that anyway.
Let's hope you're right.
Sarah closes her laptop.
Well, I'm hungry. You want to go out?
Do we not have any food here?
Sarah laughs.
Good one.
Inside the fast food restaurant during the day, Izzy and Sarah grab their burgers from the counter. Sarah turns around and spots someone sitting at one of the tables. It's Ripley. She eats a salad with one hand and browses through her computer with the other.
Oh, shit. It's that Officer Ripley.
Oh my god, that asshole.
Izzy starts walking towards her.
I'm going to talk to her.
And I'm going to go get a table.
Sarah walks towards an open table and Izzy walks towards Ripley.
Hello? Officer Ripley?
Ripley looks up and tenses at the sight of Izzy.
Oh. Hi, Miss Walker. I'm actually glad you're here.
Yeah. Weren't you supposed to call?
I know. I'm sorry about that. They just swamped me with so much work, but I was interviewing a few people about your case, and there were some discrepancies in your report.
Izzy sits down across from Ripley.
Yeah, Officer Dillon mentioned something about that. What discrepancies exactly?
Well, Sarah Bell said that you and her are a gay couple. Is that correct?
Yes.
And she said you both discovered your sexual orientation at a young age?
Yeah, so what?
When I spoke to Mark Griffin, he mentioned that you had a number of boyfriends during high school.
Izzy freezes.
Also, I just got off the phone with your father, who said you'd brought home for dinner 4, maybe even 5 boys, and you said they were your boyfriends.
I just did that so my father wouldn't be suspicious of my sexual orientation. He's very religious and homophobic.
I see.
I didn't come out to my parents until like 4 months ago.
I see.
Ripley finishes her salad, closes her laptop, and stands up.
Well, I have to go. I have a lot of work for me back at the office.
Wait, was that why they weren't going to file charges? Because they thought I lied about my sexual orientation.
I'm not authorized to answer that question, but I'll write a report about this conversation and forward it to the DA's office.
Okay.
I'll be in touch, Miss Walker. Goodbye for now.
Bye.
Ripley leaves. Inside Izzy's car, Sarah drives.
You told Mark that you had fake boyfriends?
They were funny stories. I didn't know he was going to rape me and use it against me. Stop blaming me for everything.
Sarah sits back.
I'm sorry. That was uncalled for. I'm just really stressed out right now.
I know, baby. I know. Me too. Oh, God damn it, my stupid dad. I can't believe he'd tell the police I had fake boyfriends without mentioning the fake part.
Yeah, but in his defense, it's not like he was lying or anything.
But he couldn't have at least thought that it might hurt my chances of winning?
I don't think your father exactly is the sharpest tool in the shed.
It's just so damn frustrating. Why can't people see the big picture? Why do they all have to look at every single detail?
Inside the DA's office, Barbara Madsen, 50, sits at her desk, swamped in paperwork. There's a knock at the door.
Enter.
Gloria opens the door and slips in.
You the new intern?
No, actually, I'm Gloria Goyer. I called earlier this week.
Oh, right. Remind me who you were representing again?
Izzy Walker, the sexual assault case against Mark Griffin?
Ah, yes, the pregnant girl. If I recall correctly, and I always do, then there's no evidence she was physically abused. Furthermore, she waited a full 3 weeks before reporting the attack. Her report also coincided with the discovery of her pregnancy, and I believe she also lied about her sexual orientation. Is that correct?
She didn't lie.
The police spoke with this Griffin boy, who said that she'd brought home boys to her parents. Hearsay, of course, but her father corroborated his allegation.
It's all a misunderstanding. Her father
Is a homophobic asshole. I know. I got the new police report.
Look, Mrs. Madsen.
Barbara, please.
Okay, Barbara. Here's the situation. This is my first time going solo, and I'm sure you remember how tough it is to be young, female lawyer in this country, especially in cases like this. And I would immensely appreciate it if you'd at least give me a shot here. You never know, especially in this day and age, how news like this can spread. College rape is a massive problem, and by not filing charges, you're being part of the problem and not doing the judicial system justice. You're being the judge, jury, and executioner here, and frankly, I don't think that's downright disrespectful and wrong.
Barbara sits back, impressed at Gloria's boldness.
I like you, Gloria. I'll tell you what. I'll give your Izzy Walker a chance.
Don't act like my client's the defendant.
Barbara looks at the paper calendar on her desk.
I'll have the judge issue a bench warrant for Griffin's arrest, but evidence for probable cause is still extremely circumspect.
Can you bring it to the judge directly? Given my client's looking for an abortion, they sign off on holding the preliminary hearing within 36 hours of his arrest. Can you bring it to the judge directly? Given my client's looking for an abortion, they sign off on it within 36 hours of his arrest.
I'll see what I can do, but if I'm being honest, the system's overloaded. I doubt we'll even get this in front of a judge within the next 2 weeks.
Smash cut to black. Super. 2 weeks later, inside a poli-sci classroom, the class is taking a test. Izzy's pencil swiftly moves across her testing packet. She knows all the answers. Her phone buzzes in her pocket. She sneakily pulls it out and glances over at the screen, reading, "Incoming Gloria." She shuts her phone off and goes back to her test. In the hallway, Izzy exits her class and finds Gloria there waiting for her.
Hi, Izzy.
Hey, Gloria. What are you doing here?
Izzy shovels nervously as a few of her classmates exit.
Why don't we take a walk?
Exterior college campus. Gloria and Izzy walk alongside each other.
Assuming we get past the prosecution, the main trial will start August 1st.
August? But that's like 3 months away.
13 weeks.
13? So I'll be 20 weeks pregnant.
22 weeks is the legal cap in Louisiana. These kind of trials take a few days.
So, how's it looking?
Well, there may not be a whole lot of physical evidence. If we can get the jury to feel your pain and connect with you on an emotional level and appeal to their common sense, then we should be able to get a conviction.
What about the money?
Because of the circumstances involved, if we win the jury, then you'll be compensated. As confident as I am, though, I do think it's prudent you have some kind of fallback.
Inside the living room, Izzy sits on the couch, typing into her laptop. On screen, growing up as a lesbian in the 21st century, it was only natural for me to be interested in politics. Izzy is laser focused as she types her essay. Inside the bedroom, it's 2 a.m. Izzy sits up in bed, cramming for a history test while Sarah sleeps beside her. Inside the history classroom, another test, and once again, she breezes through the exam. Inside the living room, Izzy enters her apartment and locks the door behind her.
Sarah? You home, babe?
No response. Izzy walks over to her couch and crashes on it. She lies down and closes her eyes. She's at peace.
They're saying if it goes to trial, he's going to be expelled.
Inside Mark's house, Mark's father sits on his couch across from a fancy lawyer.
Expelled? You can't let that happen.
Oh, I won't.
Just do whatever you gotta do to make this go away. Get it settled.
I'll try my best.
No, you won't try. You'll get it done.
I'll get it done.
Do I need to get another attorney?
You know what?
He stands up and puts on his overcoat.
If you want to engage another firm, then by all means be my guest. But if you don't want your son to spend the next 3 years of his collegiate life in prison, then you'll shut up and do what I tell you.
Mr. Griffin is so insulted, he's unsure how to respond.
You hired me to do my job. Now let me do it. I told you from the beginning I wanted to settle this case, and if you'd listened to me, it'd be done by now. So sit back and shut up.
Damn. Inside the living room, Izzy's jolted awake by her ringing phone. For a moment, she's confused as she finds the blanket from her bed covering her.
Hello?
It's about time. I've been calling all morning. They want to hold a pretrial conference.
Who? What? Gloria?
Get dressed and get down here. I'm assuming they want to reach a settlement.
Inside the deposition room, Izzy and Gloria sit on one side of a long conference table. After a long, awkward silence, the fancy lawyer walks in.
Thanks for meeting me on such short notice.
So, I understand you want to settle.
That's right.
Okay, let's see it.
The fancy lawyer slips a manila envelope onto the table and slides it across the table with a cocky smirk. Gloria opens it up and reviews the papers inside.
My client's offering $500,000 to have the charges dropped.
Izzy and Gloria stare at each other.
Could you give us a moment?
Take all the time you need.
He gets up and slips out through the door. Whoa.
$500,000?
Inside the second deposition room, Mark and his father anxiously wait at an empty table.
Will you relax? I already told you, he'll take care of it. No son of mine is getting expelled from college.
Jesus Christ, it's like you're more concerned about school than you are about me. I could go to jail, Dad.
Why'd you have to rape that girl? Don't you know how bad this looks for me?
I didn't rape her. She's a slut. I told you.
Well, this slut is costing me a fortune.
The fancy lawyer enters with a grin on his face.
Well, did they take it?
They will. You should have seen her face.
In the deposition room, Izzy's leg shakes with nervous energy as she thinks.
It's up to you, Izzy. I say take it.
But if I take this money, Then I have to drop the charges, right?
It's a lot of money, and we could try to press them a little. I got a feeling they'll go higher.
But he'll walk free.
Izzy, if we go to trial, he could get let off anyway. This settlement is all the win you might be able to get out of this.
But if all this is about money, what does that make me? Isn't this supposed to be about justice?
This is justice. Think about your future, Izzy. You don't even have enough money to get an abortion.
Actually, my mom got just enough saved up.
Izzy, this money can change your life. You'll have no more student debt. You can take care of your family.
Izzy ponders her choice. Her leg continues to shake. The fancy lawyer pushes into the room and sits back down.
Well,
Their eyes all look to Izzy. Her legs stop shaking. Inside the second deposition room, Mark and Mr. Griffin stand when the fancy lawyer returns. But this time, he's not smiling.
What happened?
she turned down $1 million outright.
God damn it, you piece of shit, useless asshat!
The fancy lawyer clears his throat.
You're fired. You can show yourself out.
Fancy lawyer leaves. Mark screams and pounds his fist on the conference table. Exterior of an open field day. Judy climbs a tree while 3 of her friends cheer her on. She swings off a branch and she reaches for a higher one, but as her hand closes around the wood, her grip falters. Judy falls, her right arm smashes a rock with a vicious snap. She squirms on the ground in pain as her friends panic.
Judy! Oh no, Judy!
Somebody call her parents.
No, call 911. I can see her bone.
The other girls spot the bone and start screaming. Nice friends. Inside the living room, Izzy sits at the coffee table. A fast food meal lies on the table besides a few textbooks as she types up an essay. Her phone rings as she reaches over to answer it.
Hello?
Intercut with the waiting room inside a hospital, Sharon rubs her eyes as she paces the room.
Mom, I can barely hear you. Where are you?
I'm at the hospital. Judy's had an accident.
An accident? What accident? Is she okay?
She was playing with her friends and she fell off a tree and broke her arm.
Oh my god, is she okay?
Yeah, they're x-raying and whatever now. But sweetie, there's just one thing.
What?
It's the goddamn HMO. They're not gonna cover it at all.
Well, just take care of her. She's more important.
Are you sure, sweetie?
I'm sure. I'll figure it out.
I believe in you, Izzy. Stay strong.
Thanks, Mom. Tell Judy I love her.
I will.
A doctor comes into the waiting room.
Mrs. Walker?
I got to go now, Izzy. Bye. Love you.
Love you too.
Inside the living room, Izzy tosses her phone back on the couch. After a long blank stare, shrieks at the top of her lungs. She pounds her fist on the coffee table as Sarah rushes in from the bedroom, dressed only in a wet towel.
Jesus Christ!
Judy broke her arm.
Oh shit. What do you want to do?
I can't do anything.
You should settle out of court.
Settle out of court? What happened to the whole he's going to rot in jail thing?
Well, we have to be realistic here, especially since we literally have no money to get you an abortion now.
Oh, but I already rejected his settlement offer.
You did what?
I'm going to win in court.
Oh my god, I don't believe this. You've lost your goddamn mind. You're all caught up in this whole thing.
Izzy slaps Sarah across the face, so she immediately regrets it.
Oh my god. I'm so sorry.
I'm going out.
Sarah marches back into the bedroom and slams the door behind her. Izzy follows her in.
Sarah! Sarah, wait!
Sarah takes off her towel and hastily gets dressed.
Sarah, I'm really sorry.
You haven't been listening to me at all. I'm just trying to look out for you here. I'm trying to help you, and you don't appreciate that. You don't appreciate me.
I appreciate you. I really do. I just wouldn't be able to live with myself if I let this go.
You were able to live with it those 3 weeks before I came back.
That was different. I thought it'd be best for me to move on. Best for us. But when I found out I was pregnant, and you convinced me that he shouldn't be able to get away with this.
And I can't convince you back? I can't raise a baby with you, Izzy. Okay? I have a lot of things planned in my life, and raising a child? It's not one of them.
So I'm messing things up because I got raped.
No, you're messing things up because you're fucking stupid.
Finally dressed, Sarah storms out of the bedroom back to the living room. Izzy storms out after her.
Stop walking away from me! I'm trying to talk to you!
Sarah grabs the car keys from the kitchen counter.
Sarah! What the hell's wrong with you? You're not being very supportive here.
Sarah stops at the door and turns to confront Izzy.
I'm not being supportive. I've been here. Hold on. I've been sitting here next to you and backing you up for the last fucking month. But that's over now, because I'm not being supportive. I can't sit here one more goddamn minute and pretend like you've got a chance in hell of winning this case. And even if you do, it'll probably be too late for the abortion. Like, I love you, okay? But I'm not gonna let you drag me into this. I'm not gonna go down with you with this. So either you get your shit together, or it's over with us. Because I'm fucking done here.
Izzy stands still, frozen in shock as Sarah leaves. Inside the parking garage, daytime, Sarah is a sobbing, crying mess as she races to Izzy's car, unlocks it, hops in, and drives off with a screech. Inside the living room, Izzy lies on the floor in tears, her phone in her hand.
Hi, Gloria?
Inside Mark's house, Mark sits in between his parents on the couch across from Martin Jackson, their new fancy lawyer.
I wouldn't be too worried about the prosecution. It's actually incredibly surprising that your previous lawyer allowed these charges to ever get filed. There's an incredible lack of evidence that your son committed any crime at all.
What are we?
I told you to keep your mouth shut.
In fact, there's more evidence that Izzy Walker perjured her testimony than there is of your son assaulting her.
And that's what it should be like. Mark's completely innocent. We tried to settle just to make this go away, but that drunkard bitch is trying to shame him for her own lack of responsibility. Do you know how embarrassing it was for her son's mugshot to be all over social media and the local news? It's degrading to our family. They were saying he might be expelled from school if this case goes any further.
I can assure you, both judge and jury will see through Izzy Walker's story.
Inside Applebee's, Gloria and Izzy sit across from each other at a booth. Izzy chows down on a hamburger while Gloria eats a salad.
I wouldn't worry too much about the preliminary hearing. It'll go fine.
Izzy eats in silence, lost in her own thoughts.
And I'm so sorry to hear about you and Sarah. She seems so nice and supportive.
Izzy twitches a bit at the comment.
It's fine. She was being a real dick and super selfish the past few weeks.
That must have been really hard for you, considering.
I didn't think she'd take the car. I mean, kind of a dick move on her part.
If you ever need a ride, let me know.
Izzy smiles, meat stuck in between her teeth.
Thanks.
Mark Griffin, please rise and approach the witness stand.
Inside the courtroom, the imposing Judge Hunt sits at the head of the courtroom. Mark takes a seat beside him on the stand.
Mr. Griffin, you understand that you're still under oath?
I do.
Thank you. Mrs. Madsen, you may proceed.
Izzy, Gloria, and Barbara, the DA, sit at one table, while nearby sits Mark alongside Martin, his attorney. Mark's parents sit behind him in the gallery. Dozens of people are scattered throughout the seats, watching. Mark's mom stares at Izzy, who hides her face behind her hand.
Thank you, Your Honor. Mr. Griffin, on the night of March 14th, what was your intention upon arriving at Izzy Walker's apartment?
She invited me over to study. We had a test the next day.
Did you plan on having sexual intercourse with Miss Walker?
No, things just escalated.
I see. Were you aware that Miss Walker identifies as a lesbian?
Yeah.
So you could have made the assumption that she didn't want you to have sexual intercourse with her.
She told me stories about how she'd been with other guys before.
Did she specifically say in these stories that she engaged in any sexual acts with these men?
No, not specifically.
So you assume that Miss Walker was a virgin.
I don't know. She never mentioned it.
Did she ever mention to you that she was curious about having sexual relations with a man?
No.
No. So what gave you the impression that she wanted to have them with you?
There's a low buzz in the courtroom.
Mr. Griffin, answer the question. I had a couple of drinks and so did she. She was sitting really close to me, basically touching shoulders. Look, it's not even like she was playing hard to get. I've been with a lot of girls and I know their body language when they want to take things further. Izzy was emitting those signs.
You do realize, Mr. Griffin, that body language isn't a form of consent?
She consented.
Izzy's fist tightens. Gloria takes it and holds her hand.
Mr. Griffin, could you please explain to the court how you reached the conclusion that Miss Walker consented to have sexual relations with you?
I asked her and she said yes.
I did not!
A louder buzz reverberates throughout the room. Judge Hunt slams his gavel.
Miss Walker, you'll have your turn at the stand. Miss Goya, please keep your client under control.
Sorry, Your Honor.
The room quiets.
Continue, Mr. Griffin.
I'm going to ask you again. Did Miss Walker consent to have sex with you?
Yes.
Barbara scoffs.
You do realize perjury is a capital offense?
Objection, Your Honor.
Sustained. Do you have any further questions for the defendant?
No.
Okay, Mr. Griffin, you may take a seat. Miss Walker, please approach the stand.
Mark stands up and walks back to his table. Izzy waits until he's seated before getting up and heading to the stand. She looks slightly unnerved.
Because of the sensitive nature of this case, the court asks to keep the victim's name undisclosed for public record. You may proceed, Miss Madsen.
Thank you, Your Honor. I'm going to cut right to the chase here. Did you give consent to Mark Griffin to make sexual advances towards you on the night of March 14th?
No.
And did he ever ask you verbally, in any way, if you were interested in having sexual relations?
He did not.
Miss Walker, did you initiate any kind of sexual relations with him?
No, I didn't. He did.
And how did he make his first move?
He forcibly pushed me down.
Violently?
Yes. He punched me in the stomach, the head, tried choking me.
He tried?
Well, I mean, he had his hands on my throat, but I was struggling and he let go.
Your Honor, I request upgrading the charge against Mr. Griffin to aggravated rape.
Judge Hunt thinks. Mark looks tense. So does Martin.
Your request denied, Counselor. There just isn't enough physical evidence to warrant it.
Mark and Martin both appear relieved. Barbara nods and calms Izzy with a comforting look.
Miss Walker, are you pregnant?
Yes.
And have you had sexual relations with any other man in the past year?
Never. Just Mark when he raped me.
Miss Walker, I I have here testimony from your father's deposition that you used to bring boys to the house while you were in high school.
That's right.
Can you please explain to the court why you brought them home if not to engage in sexual relations with them?
Yes. I was mostly trying to convince my father I was straight.
So you would say you were just using them as a cover-up so your parents wouldn't be suspicious of your sexual orientation?
That's right.
Your Honor, it makes perfect sense for a high school girl with a Bible-minded father to try and cover up her sexual orientation.
That's just your personal opinion.
So, Miss Walker, in summation, would you say that on the night of March 14th, you and Mr. Griffin were studying, when without any form of provocation on your part, he forcibly raped you without your consent?
Izzy twitches a little bit.
Yes.
Your Honor, I don't want to have the victim of a rape up on the stand for too long, especially considering the rapist is in the room with her. So I conclude my examination of Miss Izzy Walker.
Do you wish to cross-examine the witness, Mr. Jackson?
Martin stands up.
Yes, I do, Your Honor.
Martin approaches Izzy while Barbara sits back down.
Now, that was a touching story you told there, Miss Walker. But don't you think it's just a little convenient that you waited until discovering you were pregnant before deciding to come forward with this alleged sexual assault?
My original intention was to leave it be and just carry on with my life. I didn't want all this on my chest, with school and me trying to get my internship. When I found out I was pregnant, I just had to come forward.
Don't say it, don't say it, don't say it.
Because I can't have this baby. It ruined my life.
A quiet murmur throughout the courtroom.
Your Honor, it's obvious to me that Miss Walker is using my client's wealth as a scapegoat to get an abortion she cannot afford.
Just because I happened to be pregnant doesn't mean I didn't get raped.
Miss Walker, please, only speak when addressed to.
I think that concludes my cross-examination, Your Honor.
I'm not here for money. I'm here for justice.
Miss Walker, that's enough.
No, you raped me, Mark. How could you just sit there and deny it?
The crowd murmurs amongst themselves in surprise. Mark averts his eyes as Judge Hunt bangs his gavel.
I'll have order. Order!
Inside the courthouse hallway, Izzy and Gloria stand in an out-of-the-way corner.
You blew everyone away in there.
Thanks. You think there'll be a trial?
Barbara will have enough leverage to convince the judge.
Oh my God, I don't believe it.
Sarah approaches Izzy with an awkward smile.
Hey, Izzy.
Izzy looks at her sorrowfully. Sarah returns the glare.
Good job in there.
Thanks.
Look, I just wanted to apologize for the other day. I'm sorry I doubted you.
Yeah, well, can I have my car back?
Yeah, sorry about that as well.
You were being a real dick.
Grandmother died.
Izzy's face goes blank.
Oh, I'm...
Don't.
Sarah pulls out the car keys and hands them over.
Here, man.
Izzy takes the keys and pockets them.
Sorry about your grandmother.
Whatever. I'll be in San Francisco, but if I get subpoenaed or whatever, just call me and I'll testify.
I appreciate it, Sarah.
Yeah. So, good luck, I guess.
Thanks.
Bye.
Sarah walks off. Izzy sniffles, trying to rid a tear forming in her eye.
After hearing arguments from both defense and the prosecution,
Inside the courtroom, everyone is seated.
and witness accounts from both Mark Griffin and Izzy Walker, I have concluded that there is enough evidence to move forward the case of the People versus Mark Griffin to a proper trial. This court will reconvene at the agreed-upon date of August 1st. Court dismissed.
Judge Hunt slams his gavel one final time. A murmur reverberates throughout the courtroom as everyone stands up. Izzy flashes a genuinely big smile as she stands up. As we fade to inside Casey Miranda's office, Casey Miranda 50 sits at his desk with a name tag. The tag's titled Staff Member. Izzy sits across from him.
If you were an animal, what would you be?
Super 3 weeks later.
A hardy tardigrade.
A what?
They were one of the first living organisms to inhabit the Earth. They lived through ice ages and prolonged periods of excessive heat. They never die. They're survivors.
And you consider yourself a survivor.
Absolutely.
You made it clear in your application that you're an out-of-the-closet lesbian.
That's right.
I think that is a great thing. You could help give some diversity to our staff.
That's what I hope.
Maybe even open some eyes and ears.
Yes, that's always been a dream of mine.
Well then, congratulations. You got the internship.
Casey reaches out his hand. Izzy hastily shakes it.
Oh my God. Thank you so much.
Come into the office on Monday. You can start then. I'm sorry it isn't paid. We've had some massive cutbacks for the past few years, so we can't pay all our interns.
It's okay. I'm just glad to have the opportunity.
Well, I'll see you Monday then.
Great. See you then.
Inside the dining room of Mark's house, Mark and his parents eat at the dining table.
I convinced the school dean to let you back in when you were proven innocent. Took a hefty donation, but I got it done.
Thanks, Dad. Can't believe this is happening to me.
Can't believe it either. I mean, how can they possibly think you
Mr. Griffin eyes his wife and looks back down.
did what they think you did? It's absolutely absurd.
Inside the deposition room, Gloria and Izzy sit across from Mark and Martin. Judge Hunt is presiding over them at the table.
A paternity test?
It would prove Mark Griffin is in fact the father, and all arguments that Miss Walker could have had sexual relations with another man would be considered false. We also ask that the defense pay for said test.
Fine. I approve of the motion for the defense to provide a paternity test as evidence to be used in the court.
Inside the doctor's office, Izzy lies back as her blood gets drawn. Inside a work area, the place is loud, bustling, and busy. Dozens of interns walk up and down the room carrying papers and coffee and everything else but the kitchen sink. Izzy sits at a computer station with a government form displayed on the screen. She clicks print, and the printer beside her revs up. 3 pages print out, and Izzy grabs them and leaves. Inside Gloria's office, Gloria sits at her desk working when an intern comes in.
This came for you.
Gloria grabs an envelope from the intern's hands.
Thank you.
Gloria looks at the envelope. It's watermarked Prenatal Genetics Center. She stands up and leaves her office. Inside the living room of Izzy's apartment, Izzy sits on the couch browsing on her laptop. She dials a number on her phone and holds it to her ear.
Hi, Care Pregnancy Clinic?
Inside Izzy's car, Izzy's stuck in traffic on the highway.
I'm calling to see if I can schedule a time to meet one of your counselors. It says that it's required under Louisiana law to meet with the counselor at least 24 hours before the abortion.
Outside at a parking lot, Izzy's car speeds into the lot. She illegally parks in a spot and hastily exits the car. Inside the Care Pregnancy Clinic, a female receptionist sits behind a welcome desk. Doctors exit the building as Izzy rushes in and stumbles to the front counter. The receptionist looks up with a biatchy face.
Hi, I'm so sorry I'm late. This is the closest clinic to me, and it's like 2 hours away, and I got stuck in traffic.
Do you have an
Yes, with Dr. Parks.
He checked out half an hour ago.
Shit. Does he have any time tomorrow?
He doesn't come in on Saturdays.
Sunday?
We're closed on Sunday.
Inside Izzy's car at night, Izzy smashes her hands on the steering wheel in rage. Outside a gas station, Izzy puts gas into her car. She watches as the monitor racks up the price tag to above $50. Inside the deposition room during the day, Gloria, Izzy, Mark, Martin, and Judge Hunt are all present.
The defense requests to have all of Izzy Walker's alleged boyfriends from high school subpoenaed.
That's absurd. They're all over the country now, and it's unreasonable to have all of them change their schedule to meet your needs.
I reject the motion. It's evident enough through the preliminary hearing that Miss Walker never had a sexual experience with a man before the night of the alleged assault.
Inside Izzy's apartment, Izzy browses an article on her laptop. On screen, care pregnancy clinic closes Louisiana down to 2 abortion clinics. Outside downtown during the day, Izzy walks down the crowded sidewalk with an ice cream cone. Horns blow patriotic songs during a 4th of July parade. Izzy bumps into someone accidentally. She turns around to see a gorgeous blonde lady.
I'm so sorry.
The lady waves her hand as if to say it's okay and continues walking the other direction. Izzy watches her ass with a smile as she walks away. Exterior, downtown, fireworks launch to the air. People cheer. Izzy stands alone, watching the display until all that's left are the stars in the sky as we fade to black. The sound of shuffling as people stand up in a courtroom. Inside the courtroom during the day, Izzy and Gloria sit at one table, Mark and Martin the other. The gallery's packed.
All rise for the Honorable Judge Hunt presiding.
A jury of 9, all between the ages of 40 and 50, stand up. Super, August 1st, Judge Hunt enters and sits behind his desk.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Calling the case for the people versus Mark Griffin. Are both sides ready?
Ready for the people, Your Honor.
Ready for the defense, Your Honor.
Will the clerk please swear in the jury?
The deputy clerk, male 40, stands in front of the jury.
Will the jury please stand and raise your right hand?
The members of the jury obey.
Do each of you swear that you will fairly try the case before this court and that you will return a true verdict according to the evidence and instructions of the court? So help you God. Say I do.
I do.
I do.
I do. You may be seated.
The jurors sit.
Ms. Goyer, you have the floor.
Gloria stands up and faces the jury. She's extremely well dressed and has her makeup done perfectly. The men in the jury have their attention solely on her as she speaks.
Your Honor, ladies and gentlemen of the jury, the defendant has been charged with 1 count of simple rape, which resulted in the impregnation of the victim. After taking a prenatal paternity test, it had been concluded that Mark Griffin cannot be excluded as being the father. Now, granted that this case has a lack of physical evidence, but let me ask you something. What rape case doesn't? To the women in the jury, if you were to be abused by a man, would your first reaction be to save your clothing and not wash yourself? Just in case it could be used as evidence? Evidence in a criminal case you don't even know will happen? Of course not. Izzy Walker is an out of the closet lesbian woman who was in a same-sex relationship at the time of the rape. It makes absolutely no sense that she would even consider having sex with another man, let alone consent to it. Miss Walker waited 3 weeks before reporting the incident to the police, and for good reason. She had school, and she thought the school would take care of her situation. But they let her down by letting Mr. Griffin off the hook. This sort of gross negligence on the part of the school isn't a one-time event. It's an epidemic. I know what you've read or seen the stats on how a woefully low percentage of rapists actually spend time behind bars. But in this case, I think it's painstakingly obvious that the victim was forcibly raped. And for evidence, what we have is the unwanted pregnancy of an openly gay woman who, I might add, the defendant knew was gay at the time of the assault. And I believe that's all the evidence you need to see that the defendant is in fact guilty as charged. That's all, Your Honor.
Thank you, Ms. Goyer.
Gloria heads back to the desk and sits next to Izzy.
Good job.
Martin stands up and confronts the jury. The women jurors stare at him, completely focused.
Your Honor, ladies and gentlemen of the jury, under law, my defendant is innocent until proven guilty. Innocent until proven guilty. And to prove it, you require evidence. evidence that you'll find during the course of this trial simply does not exist. In fact, all my client is guilty of is being the father of an alleged lesbian's allegedly unwanted baby. I can't make it clear enough how Miss Walker only reported this alleged rape the day after she was discovered that she was pregnant. Do you think that's a coincidence? I must also make it abundantly clear that Miss Walker has said that she had several boyfriends during her time in high school. Now, Miss Walker will tell you that she used these boys as a cover-up because she was afraid of her father finding out about his sexual orientation. But you would think that bringing one boy, maybe two, home would be enough to convince her father that she was straight. But no, Miss Walker brought home 5 boys whom she allegedly pretended to date. That seems like overkill, doesn't it? What it seems like we've got here is a classic case of high school girl who dates a guy, and when the relationship doesn't work out, she finds some other guy to date to either fill that emotional void or get back to the previous boy. I don't think you, members of the jury, should simply assume that Miss Walker is gay. I think that Miss Walker is using Mr. Griffin as a scapegoat to have an abortion. I think she wants to get back at him, just like she got back at her ex-boyfriends by dating another. And then abortion? I mean, to strip an unborn child from what could be a glorious life just because she doesn't have the means to afford one. Miss Walker is using my client's wealth. One may even say she is using the judicial system itself as a form of extortion to perform an immoral, sinful deed. Therefore, my client is not only innocent, but also on the receiving end of some twisted, defamatory vendetta.
Martin walks back to his table and sits next to Mark.
Thank you, Mr. Jackson. The prosecution may call its first witness.
Gloria stands up.
The people call for Sarah Bell.
Izzy sits on the edge of her seat at the sound of her name. The bailiff brings Sarah into the room. The clerk stands in front as she takes the stand.
Please raise your right hand.
Sarah does so.
Do you promise that the testimony you shall give in the case before this court shall be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
I do.
Please state your first and last name.
Sarah Bell.
You may be seated.
Sarah sits. The clerk leaves. Gloria takes over the floor.
Miss Bell, you and Izzy were a couple at the time of the incident, correct?
Yes, we were.
How long had you two been dating?
About 2.5 years.
So it's safe to say you knew Miss Walker well?
More than well. I knew everything there is to know about her. Just about.
I assume you two spoke about the personal matters like your previous sex life?
Indeed.
Did Miss Walker ever mention having sexual relations with another man?
No, she would never.
So she was a virgin before Mr. Griffin abused her?
Well, in terms of being with a guy, yes.
And what about you? Have you and Miss Walker had sexual relations before?
Yes.
What about before the incident took place, before March 14th?
Yes. Way before then.
And in your last sexual encounter before the incident, to your best recollection, can you please tell the court if Miss Walker's hymen was still intact?
Yes. Yes, it was.
There's a hush over the gallery.
And in your next sexual encounter after the incident, what about that?
It was not.
And had Miss Walker ever shown any interest in men or indicated in any way that you might want to experiment?
No, never. She's as gay as they come. Even when Leonardo DiCaprio or somebody came on TV, she wouldn't even react.
Gloria faces the jury.
As gay as they come. No further questions, Your Honor.
Does the defense have any questions?
Yes, Your Honor.
Martin stands and passes Gloria as she retakes her seat.
Ms. Bell, where were you at the time this alleged assault took place?
London? I was doing a semester abroad.
And for how long were you and Miss Walker separated during this time?
About 3 months.
And when you were together, did you and Miss Walker have sex on a regular basis?
Yes.
How often?
About once a day.
Wow, once a day. Some of us should be so lucky.
Objection.
Sorry, Your Honor. So, Miss Bell, tell me, would you classify Miss Walker as being particularly interested in having sex with you?
Well, sure. We were going out. We both loved having sex.
So, would you classify Miss Walker as having an abnormally high sex drive?
Objection, Your Honor.
Counselor.
I withdraw the question. Miss Bell, did you and Miss Walker consider yourselves to be dating?
Yes, we were girlfriends.
So, both you and Miss Walker were in an exclusive relationship, is that right?
That's right. Yeah.
And in all that time, did your girlfriend, Miss Walker, ever cheat on you?
Yes, once.
And when did she cheat on you? When you were in London?
Yes.
And when exactly was this?
In January?
Now, you testified earlier that in your last sexual encounter, before you left for London, that Miss Walker's hymen was intact. Is that correct?
Yes, that's right.
And when you returned, you found that her hymen had been broken. Is that right?
Yes.
And in between this time, the person she cheated on you with, do you know if it was a woman?
Objection, Your Honor. Under the Rape Shield law, it's unlawful to cross-examine previous sexual behavior.
Given the specific nature of this case and the sexual orientation of the plaintiff, I overrule your objection.
But, Your Honor.
Judge Hunt slams his gavel on that ambulance.
Overruled. Answer the question, Miss Bell.
Sarah freezes. She glances over at Izzy. Izzy stares.
I never saw or met the person.
Did you catch a name by any chance?
It was Sam.
Sam. A unisexual abbreviated name?
I suppose.
And when you found out she'd cheated on you, were you angry?
Yes, I was furious.
But your relationship didn't end because of it. You chose to stay together, is that correct?
Yes, I forgave her.
But now you're no longer together.
That's right. We broke up.
And who initiated the breakup?
I did. I broke up with her.
Miss Bell, this might be difficult for you to answer, but I want you to please consider the question. In all the time since you've been back from London, with everything that you've heard and everything that's gone on, did it ever cross your mind that Miss Walker might have cheated on you with a boy?
No.
And when Miss Walker told you that she'd had sexual relations with Mark, that she was raped, you believed her, of course, did you not?
Yes, of course I believed her.
You believed that she was raped,
Yes.
and that it was because she was raped that her hymen had been broken.
Yes, that's right.
And you never once considered that she might be lying to you about the rape because she was too embarrassed to admit that she cheated on you with a boy? With a boy?
Objection.
Overruled.
Gloria looks stunned.
Miss Bell, answer the question.
I'm sorry. What was the question?
I'll ask one you can remember this time. Miss Bell, is it possible that Miss Walker lied to you about the rape because she knew her broken hymen was proof that she cheated with a boy?
Well,
Could she have been lying because she knew how you'd react? That she knew you'd break up with her over it?
What?
Is it possible?
Yes.
No further questions, Your Honor.
The witness is excused.
Sarah stands up and leaves.
We'll take a 30-minute recess and reconvene. Court is adjourned.
Judge Hunt slams his gavel. Inside the courthouse hallway, Izzy and Gloria stand in an isolated corner of the hallway.
You never told me you cheated on her.
I didn't know that they'd even think about asking that question.
They can't, and they shouldn't. It isn't your fault, and he's going to ask you whether or not the person you cheated on Sarah with was a man or woman. I don't care, and I don't want to know, but you're going to say woman, do you understand?
Izzy stares at Gloria with no reaction.
The people call for Izzy Walker.
Inside the courtroom, Izzy stands up and approaches the witness stand.
Do you promise that the testimony you shall give in the case before this court shall be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
Fade to minutes later, Martin paces in front of the witness stand.
Your girlfriend and I had an interesting talk earlier about some of the indiscretions you had in your relationship. And I'd like to know, is it true? Did you cheat on your girlfriend while you were in an exclusive relationship?
Yes.
Are you sorry?
Excuse me?
Are you sorry? Are you remorseful that you cheated on her?
Yes, I am. I'm sorry, Sarah.
Miss Walker, what was the name of the person you had an affair with?
Sam.
Do you remember Sam's last name?
Bridges.
And this Sam, was this person with whom you had sexual relations a boy or a girl?
Izzy hesitates for a long moment.
Answer the question, Miss Walker.
It's a simple question. Was Sam a man or a woman?
A woman. I said before.
Now, you do understand that lying under oath is a felony.
I'm not lying.
So Sam is a woman.
She identified as a woman.
A murmur breaks out against the surprised gallery.
She identified as a woman?
Yes.
Miss Walker, are you telling me that Sam was a transgender male to female?
Yes.
Post or pre?
What?
Did Sam have the procedure done to remove his male genitalia?
No.
No?
But she identifies as a woman. I call her woman, so does everyone else.
But she had a penis.
Yes.
The murmur grows louder. Izzy swallows. Bang, bang, bang. There's a knock at the door. Inside the living room of Izzy's apartment, Izzy's on the couch, drinking straight from a bottle of rum. She stands up and stumbles towards the front door. The knocking continues.
I'm coming. I'm coming.
Izzy opens the door and Gloria barges in.
I tried convincing the judge again that he's in direct violation of the rape shield law, but he isn't budging. I'm sorry, Izzy, but I have to say it's not looking good. The defense is calling in this Samuel Bridges, and no matter how she acts or what she says, the jury is going to see a man.
Izzy tosses the bottle onto the floor and lies down.
Oh, I'll see you in court tomorrow. Try and get some sleep.
Gloria leaves. Izzy pulls out her cell phone and dials.
Hello, Mom.
Hi, Izzy. How did it go today?
Shitty.
Oh, sweetie, that's okay. Your father and I are driving over tomorrow. We'll do everything we can to help you win.
It's basically over, Mom.
What do you mean? What happened?
I don't want to talk about it. Is Dad coming?
Of course he is. We'll all get together during lunch and eat somewhere nice. How does that sound?
Okay, sure.
Well, we'll see you tomorrow then. Good luck, sweetie.
Thank you.
Izzy hangs up. Inside the living room of his parents' house, Sharon and Pat sit on the couch. Sharon puts her phone away and stands up.
Well, we better get packing then.
I ain't going. Don't put words in my mouth.
You are going.
No, I'm not. I'm going on Thursday when I'm summoned. I'll testify and then I'm leaving.
Haven't you done enough to ruin our daughter's life, leaving her in crippling debt, practically exiling her from this house? Those shenanigans with telling the police about the fake boyfriends, your ignorance and hatred is getting in the way of your love for our daughter.
Pat groans.
I've said my piece. I'm packing and leaving at dawn.
Inside the courtroom, once again, the court is packed as they watch Sam Bridges, 20s, take the stand. She is 6'4" with a well-structured face and a muscular body. Her only feminine feature is her luxurious shoulder-length blonde hair.
I do.
Izzy looks back at the gallery. She sports Sharon in one of those first rows with an empty seat next to her.
Please state your name for the record.
Samantha Bridges.
Izzy's face falls in disappointment. She turns back around.
Your legal name, please.
Samuel Bridges.
You may be seated.
I only have a few questions for you, Mr. Bridges. Oh, I'm sorry. Is it Miss Bridges? Or maybe Mrs.?
I prefer Miss Bridges, yes.
Well, you don't look like much of a miss to me. In fact, you look rather toned and built. Do you work out?
Yes, I do.
Conscious of your health, are you?
Yes.
Do you juice?
Excuse me?
Do you take any substances, protein pills or anything of the sort?
Yes.
Which ones, if I may ask?
Gymzema?
Sam, that's pretty rich in testosterone, isn't it? For what possible reason could you have any interest in pumping that much testosterone into your bloodstream?
It's for my wrestling career. I want to go to the World Championships.
I see. Well, you seem pretty manly to me. Let me ask you a rather personal question, if you don't mind. But I do think it's important for the jury to know. Miss Bridges, do you have a penis?
Yes.
So let me get this straight, Miss Bridges. You want to be an Olympic wrestler, so you pump extra testosterone into your body, and you have a penis. Don't you think that represents a man and not a woman?
Objection! He's leading the witness.
I'll allow it.
It's about how I feel on the inside.
Of course it is. And you're a woman on the inside, are you not?
I am.
Izzy looks back at the gallery where she spots her father making his way through the aisle. Izzy's eyes lighten up at the sight of him, but he doesn't look back at her.
And have you ever been inside a woman?
Stunned laughter breaks out amongst the gallery. Pat takes a seat next to Sharon, who always appears pleasantly surprised to see him. Pat's eyes dart around the room. He eventually settles at staring at the ground.
Objection, Your Honor.
Judge Hunt bangs his gavel.
Order! I'll have order!
Izzy continues staring at her father, who eventually looks up and returns her gaze, a sorrowful look in his eyes. They lock eyes.
Miss Bridges, have you ever had penetrative vaginal sex with a woman?
Yes.
I love you.
Izzy can't help but smile. Pat smiles back as we fade to living room in Izzy's apartment. Izzy watches TV with the sound off in a quiet daze when there's a knock at the door. She slowly walks over and opens it to find Sarah, who looks anxious and guilty. Izzy takes a step back.
What do you want?
I'm so sorry. I had no idea.
Yeah, well, thanks a lot.
Can I come in?
No.
Please? I have something to say.
You already said you're sorry. How much more could you possibly hurt me?
Please?
Fine.
Izzy opens the door wider and Sarah walks in.
So I've been thinking. Look, I'm going to be blunt with you because I know you're strong enough to handle it. You've lost this case. You don't have the money for the abortion, but you know what? You do have me. I can't leave you alone like this, okay? I feel way too guilty.
Izzy takes a seat on the couch and tries to remain stoic.
I spent some time with a couple of girls back in California, and I couldn't stop thinking about you. And I wanted to call, but I didn't want to intrude.
Sarah picks up the bottle of rum and takes a sip.
I don't know, but it was eating at me every single day, and I needed you.
Izzy starts crying, but Sarah doesn't touch her.
Please don't cry. Hey, I'm sorry for leaving you like that. It's just, it was such a shitty way and such a shitty thing to do, but I was just so overwhelmed.
Shut up. Just shut up.
Izzy throws herself at Sarah and they hug.
I want you to know. I want to know if you forgive me.
I do. It's okay.
They kiss, long and passionately, as they hold each other. Inside the bedroom, Izzy and Sarah lie alongside each other in bed.
You're going to let me go from the internship. It'll ruin my career path.
Don't worry. It's okay. We'll manage. I'm telling you, I'll get a job. I'll get 2 jobs. Maybe drop out of school. I don't need an education to become an actress. So it'll all work out. We can do this.
Mm-hmm.
Sarah turns to face her.
Come on. You don't think so? We'd be great together. Maybe this whole thing is kind of like some blessing in disguise.
Maybe.
Have you thought about names yet? We don't even know if it's a boy or girl, but
I don't know. I just want to sleep, okay?
yeah, sure.
Izzy reaches over and shuts off the light.
Good night, Sarah.
Night.
Fade to interior bedroom, Izzy's apartment. Izzy's eyes flicker open. She looks at the clock, 2:37 a.m. again. Izzy gets up in the darkness and tiptoes over to the closet, trying her best not to wake Sarah. She reaches in, takes a jacket off a coat hanger, and tosses it to the floor. Sarah shuffles.
Come back to bed.
Shh. I'll be right there.
Izzy creeps into the bathroom, turns on the light, shuts the door behind her. Izzy gathers all the shower towels and hand-drying towels and spreads them out across the tile floor. She unbuttons her jeans and takes them off. She throws them off to the side and sits on the towels. Izzy pries the stiff metal of the coat hanger to form a hook. Her eyes are bloodshot and teary. She slides her underwear off and pushes it to the side. She extends her arm as the hanger hovers between her legs. Her hand shakes, beads of sweat fall down her face. Izzy stares at its sharp point, thinking. Her hand continues to tremble as we cut to black. One out of every 1,000 rapists, only 100 are reported. Only 30 face trial. Only 10 are sentenced to jail time. The end.
The end. Small air horn.
Somber.
Yay! Good job, everybody. Thank you very much to my table readers. I thought you handled that script incredibly well. Thank you, everybody that's watching us. I hope you were enjoying the read.
This was good.
Yeah. Yes, it was good. And thank you, Frog, for sharing your script with us. Sorry it took us so long to get to it, but it was worth the wait. So, We are now going to do feedback. Each table reader will have a couple minutes to give their feedback. I do suspect that feedback might go a bit longer than usual on this one. I could be wrong, but let's try to keep it to, 2 or 3 minutes per person. And if you have more than that to say, please send a message to Frog on Discord with your additional thoughts. But let's start at the top of the list with Curtin Parlow. What were your thoughts on the script?
Well, first of all, thank you very much, Frog, for submitting the script. It's heavy going. It's certainly heavy going. I haven't really got a lot of comments. I suspect there'll be a few comments about certain things which I don't really know anything about, so I don't know what productive feedback I can give you really. Other than I thought the dialogue was pretty well done, and yeah, it was, as I say, it was pretty powerful stuff, and nothing really productive to add at this point. I might think of something later on, but yeah, thanks very much.
Okay, thanks, Paul. Yeah, I thought the dialogue was very well done as well. E.L. Drayton, what were your thoughts on the script?
Hi, glad to be back and for this to be a read that I participated in. Thank you, Frog, for the opportunity to be Southern and be 50, 60, and I believe 70 years old were all of my roles. So it was great being an old person. Yeah, I thought so. I don't really have any thoughts that I can think about. It was a interesting read, and it was a very powerful read. Being someone who's been at the end of unwanted advances from someone, so I know what that's like. And I think you hit the nail on the head. And being someone who's friends with someone who's been through 3 abortions, I know what that's like as well. So this was a very powerful read for me, and it was actually really good. It actually went. I was looking at the time, and I realized the read went really fast in comparison, because I've seen some scripts that are longer in length, and take much longer time. But for 120 pages, I feel like we read through it pretty quickly, even with the narration and with lots of dialogue. It read really quickly and really smoothly. And I think that's all I really have for my comments. It was a really, really good read, really interesting.
Awesome. Thank you, E.L. Drayton, and it's nice to have you back. Speaking of comebacks, we also had Electric Dreamer back this week, also known as Brett. Thank you so much for coming back and narrating. You did a great job. Did you have any thoughts on the script you wanted to share?
Oh, yes, thanks. And yes, thank you. It is nice to be back, and it was really a lot of fun today. Despite the subject matter, I was laughing on the inside, trust me. One thing I would definitely like to impress on the author is there are several beats in the courtroom that are reiterating information that we already know. So those scenes tend to drag on. So I would suggest in future drafts that you try to have there be more discovery for the reader in the courtroom to kind of sharpen the focus a little bit, because there are several passages where they were going over things that we'd already know about, and so we're going over them again, and then the reader's attention will start to wander. So just something to think about. No, that would be my big thing. When you're trying to get some momentum push in the courtroom, we're going over things that we already know when we should be pushing forward and discovering new stuff.
Yes, one's just a minor quibble. I think when you can drop the word gay in with gay couple, when Dylan is talking to Sarah, because all he needs to say is, "So you're a couple." I think that would like I said, that's just a minor quibble, but hearing the phrase "gay couple" just didn't seem right to me, even from a Louisiana police officer. Also, I wasn't quite clear as to whether or not what Gloria was. I thought she was a pro bono attorney, and suddenly she's a prosecuting attorney. That was really jarring. So I don't know how she went from representing, somebody, how she went from a pro bono legal aid attorney to suddenly being a prosecuting attorney. That makes I think that needs to be clarified at some point. And I'm sure this was just a matter of this is just a reading note, but I was rather jarred by the reading of Barbara as being really hostile during to all of this. Whether she is or not, that is something that hostility should be a subtext of what they're talking about, rather than an overt thing. Because right then and there, you're the care. Izzy should just say screw it and walk away from it, because she knows they're not going to fight on her behalf to get this guy locked up or punished in any way. And the other thing is that they keep bringing up the fact in the courtroom how she's trying to get money out of the family for the abortion. It should be brought out in the fact that she turned down $1 million. That needs to be brought out in the story. Because hearing the being repeatedly being told, oh, she's doing this for the money because she doesn't have any money. There should be somewhere in there where a redirect is asked about the settlement and about that. That makes sense?
I had the same thought. I was like, well, why didn't she immediately bring up that she turned down $1 million? That would have stopped that argument right there. Unless I missed it. I definitely agree with you there.
That was never brought up.
Yeah, I didn't think so.
Unless because the other thing is too is that
Can it be brought up in a court of law?
Yes, it can, because they keep because they're she was offered a settlement. They refused the settlement. So his trying to say that she's trying to get money out of this guy for an abortion is bullshit and needs to be called on it. Of course, that could possibly change the outcome, and Martin could go to jail. But I think that needs to, because the way it's going right now, it's very transparent that he's going to get away with it. And hearing that she is that she turned down $1 million for it to go to trial, I think would add a little bit more tension to what the outcome is going to be.
Yep, I hear you. Any other thoughts you wanted to share, Kelly?
Yeah, I'm going to share this. Okay. In 1999, and I'm saying this because in 1999, I was the victim of a home invasion and assault, and the guy is now doing. They nailed him for a third crime while he was already serving time for mine. But he went from a public defender to went through a public defender, legal aid, and the $300 an hour criminal attorney just to plead guilty. So somewhere along, this is what gets it going. Is there going to be a trial, or what that outcome is going to be? But even with the stats at the end, which is great, I'd like to see, or in the rewrite, that the prospect of his being found guilty. Because right now it's with the exception of the relationship between Izzy and Sarah and her family. The Martin family is all very glib. There's absolutely no, I mean, they're very caricaturish. And there's no like, holy, I think deep down there should be some form of knowledge on Daddy's part that his son is a shithead because he keeps having to bail him out. And that's it.
Awesome. Thanks, Kelly, for your notes. Let's move on now to Banana Man 321, who is a first-time reader today. You did a great job, man. Did you have any thoughts on the script you wanted to share?
I just thought it was incredibly powerful and everything. It was such a dark topic and everything, and just the way that it was written and everyone else's performances. I thought it was incredible. And one thing I do, agreeing with everyone else, I don't really know too much about how court proceedings go and stuff like that, but I know that a lot of people had some issues with that. So I guess that if that got cleared up more, it would be a lot, smoother and everything. But this was really professional in my opinion. Like, this was so, I could see this being made, and like you said, I think, Frog, that it is being produced sometime or something, which is great, and I love to see how that would work out. But yeah, this was because I had to leave for a while and I came back just in time for the ending, and that was heart-wrenching. And it's sad because this was, based on a true story, and obviously this isn't the only case out there that goes forgotten and stuff like that. So it really opened up my eyes to that, and just want to say thank you to all of you for giving me this experience.
Well, thank you, Banana Man. And may I say that we have a few listeners out there who find your voice quite soothing. I'm watching Twilark swaying from side to side, and I think it's because of your soothing tone. So you are welcome back anytime. Moving on now. Moving on now to Script Chick. Did you have any thoughts on the script?
Yes, and I ditto the soothing. I just wanted to say I think it's really cool, Frog, that I've gotten to read like a lot of your stuff, and just to see so much variety that you give, like in terms of depth of the writing in so many different genres. I think it's really cool. You're like you're not a frog, you're a chameleon for me. I just some notes. I think Izzy could get to her parents sooner, because I feel like there's a lot of back and forth about call, not call. And when she does actually get to her parents, it does seem to happen pretty quickly, with her mom supporting her. But I do like that moment. And I do like seeing this family, to see what she had to go against even before this case. So there's that. My favorite thing, I really like Izzy and Sarah, like just their layers, because we get to see them, kind of interact. We kind of see how they would be outside of this serious issue. Like even Twilark adding the HIV positive, which I thought was really funny. I don't know if it's appropriate, but maybe. I mean, it's kind of their thing. Like they seem like a jokey couple before all this stuff with Sam and the rape and stuff. But I would focus on that more, honestly, because I feel like in the last half, some of the worked for me. Like it was interesting, but other stuff, it was just kind of like, when are we getting to Izzy? When are we getting to Sarah? Really seeing them. Like I loved when Sarah was on trial, because it's really kind of, for me, it's their story. Obviously Izzy has a lot to win, but Sarah has so much going on as well. So that's what I was really drawn to when I was reading the story, and, to see if Mark would get his comeuppance. But it was just kind of on a more personal level, is between them two, these two people dealing with this issue. So if you were to rewrite this, I would try to focus on that, not have as many courtroom stuff, because I wasn't sure about Barbara and Gloria scene. I kind of forget what important info was given there, but a lot of times I just wonder if you can cut some of that fat. But yeah, tiny things. I wasn't clear on who was doing the stunned laughter on page 117. At first, I thought it was Pat because you introduced Pat coming in, and that's obviously not the case. But maybe be a bit more clear with who is laughing in response to Sam's comment. I don't know if I was sold on the Pat saying "I love you," just because you've portrayed him as so hard before this. I kind of needed that extra beat or something not out and out saying I love you to really make me believe it, because right now it's just kind of hard. Everything he's said, either to Izzy's face or behind it with the mom. So that was just my opinion. I love the description of fancy lawyer. Do think though he needs a name because he kind of becomes this like really like juicy character. I mean, a small bit part, but I think he should just have a name. And I think that's kind of it. This is definitely a dramatic piece, and I felt things. So it was good. Thank you for sharing.
Awesome. Thank you, Script Chick. And yeah, Banana Man mentioned that this is being made, and I don't know all the details of that, so I don't want to misquote what I've heard, but I think it's a film student that is in the process of putting together the funding for this movie to be produced. And maybe Frog can tell us in the chat, but I think they have some of it. Is that right? So they're working on completing the financing. But I hope you'll share it with us when it gets completed. Moving on now to Cheddarman. Did you have any thoughts on the script?
Yes, thank you, Frog, for submitting the script and letting us read it. And, for having the guts to tell such a heavy story. But yeah, it was really good, and it deserves to have light shed on it, I think. Yeah, I really enjoyed it, and I usually can't I usually can't get into courtroom drama at all, Like I turn off the second half of Law and Order every time. But I was into it. I enjoyed it. If I had to criticize, I don't know, maybe once in a while, Smish. Maybe the lawyer character felt a little too slimy to me. I don't know. I just feel like every time there's a slimy lawyer in one of these courtroom things, he's kind of always the same character, this like ultra disgusting, creepy guy. But I don't know how else you could portray him without kind of steering the focus away from, Izzy and her story anyway. But yeah, if I had to have a little stupid nitpick, it would be that Izzy dials 911 and hangs up on them, and you can't do that. They will hunt you down. so yeah, I don't know. Maybe have her dial 911 and not hit send or something like that. But yeah, just from my personal experience, that doesn't fly. But thanks again, Frog.
That's true. Now, I'm in Canada, so I'm not sure if it's the same, but when I was a teenager, me and my best friend once stupidly called 911 and then hung up. And a police officer called us back immediately, and we were scared shitless. I wanted to give one comment. Frog was talking about how he's stripped away a lot of the script. And, granted, I'm multitasking here, so it's possible I missed something, but I was waiting for a scene of Izzy alone with the fact that she's now pregnant and carrying a child. And I don't think that moment ever came until the coat hanger scene. Maybe I'll ask Script Chick, since you played Izzy. Did you notice that, or did I miss it? What did you think?
Yeah. Now that you mentioned that, I totally agree. It kind of like, it's a very tricky rope, because for a lot of the times we're hearing a negative opinion about it, like over and over again. And so maybe that quiet moment without having to say anything, you know, she's kind of understanding the situation she's in, but otherwise there's a lot of dialogue that could potentially turn your audience against her because she's so vocal. But yeah, I agree with you.
Cool. Yeah. I mean, I've never been pregnant myself, but if I ever was, especially in that situation, I would imagine it being incredibly overwhelming. And I don't know. I just wanted to see that moment. So I wonder if that was one of the things that Frog ended up having to strip away, and if we could maybe get it back. Moving on now to Twilark, who played Sarah. What were your thoughts on the script?
Hey guys. Yeah, first of all, thank you for the script. Thank you for the content and daring to go here. And definitely thank you for the scaling it up to like 100 at like random times. Definitely a curvy, windy road, and that was a fun ride. Um, I think as the character of Sarah, um, I truly enjoyed the depth of how you can portray her as happy-go-lucky, but then serious and then emotional. She definitely had the chance to go all over the place. Personally, I kept envisioning the character from Steven Universe, Ruby, in like the lesbian relationship, and then they turn into Garnet. Anyways, so I felt like the sudden burst of outrage and then like, oh shit, my bad, sorry, kind of thing was absolutely realistic. There's a point where I started to kind of disconnect with her when we're going through the process and of actually calling all the officers, of actually going through um, trying to get this down on paper, and Sarah is she's merely a supportive character, and that's absolutely realistic. You don't really know what to do, kind of stuff. And I think there just needs to be like maybe like a little more guidance written into the description or into it of the what am I thinking of? She asks a lot of questions, but they're absolutely leading questions. She already knows the answers to them. And so it's kind of like, so what are you going to do next? So are we going to go talk to them? Are you like, what do you want to do? But absolutely knowing, no, I already have the car gassed up. This is exactly what we're going to go and do because it has to be done. Um, I love the breadth of the character and then the story arc as well between the relationship of, yeah, it's tough. It's the fact that they even got back together in the end may be like, that's just Hollywood magic. But like, otherwise, you'd be a shitty person if you didn't get back with her, but would you? It's a kid. It's absolutely understandable in a real world situation. And we saw that from the parents as well, where you had the heavily religious mother and immediately being like, oh, no, get that shit out of there. So absolutely realistic. And I loved that. And being a young Hispanic woman from the South and from like South Texas, and knowing that the nearest like abortion clinic is a 4-hour drive and a 2-day wait, and you have to watch like a horrible video of like, this is your baby. You're like, no. um I think some of the scenes when you had like the religious doctor, or like, you guys are going to go to hell, that happens to so many people because there are places that say, hey, we're going to like um I forget the term that is used, but it's like they're not Planned Parenthoods, they're the other side of it, and they're just here to help you with your options. And so I think maybe to make that a little more realistic. Granted, I absolutely believe a doctor's being like, you gonna go to hell and you gonna burn and sin, gnawing and gnashing of bones. Yeah, absolutely, totally realistic. But maybe in a script it feels forced. I think it needs to be I think something that might come across easier and more fluid would be something along the lines of, have you thought of your options? Have you thought of adoption? Have you thought of giving it to somebody else? And in general, like other things, I think play a role here. And just the subtle like, well, we all make mistakes. That doesn't mean you're a mistake, but you're gonna make a mistake if you don't like let this baby live, because like lives matter, that kind of thing absolutely happens. Sorry, so I rambled, but thank you again for the opportunity to read a really great role, and I love you, Script Trick. Oh my god.
Oh my god, I love you too. You're from South Texas?
I am originally. I live in Seattle now.
I'm from Houston.
Oh my god, Corpus Christi.
Okay, you two, get a room,
I'm actually
or
from
get
the
a
county
channel.
of the highest teen pregnancies in America for 2 years, and then we got really pissed when we didn't beat like our goal again. It was
Forget Girl Scout cookies. It's babies now.
Awesome. Okay, thank you, Twilark. Awesome. Okay, well, that concludes this week's table read. Thank you so much to my table readers and everybody who is watching and hosting. If you would like to submit a script to us, just a reminder, go to twitchtablereads.com. It's absolutely free. We do a full-length feature screenplay every Friday. And we also do smaller table reads on Tuesdays. If you want us to just read like 10 pages of something you have in progress, join our Discord group Tuesdays at 2 o'clock Pacific. 2 p.m. Pacific. And that is it. Say goodbye, everybody.
Goodbye, everybody.
Goodbye,
Goodbye, everybody.